And boundaries are really good in relationships.
Yeah, and you don't feel better after doing it, but you do feel better, you know? It's
They set boundaries in the bedroom all the time, like don't put your finger there, you know.
What?
Stuff like that.
You want to start?
Yeah.
5, 4. Oh, we got a countdown?
Oh.
Yeah, podcasts and stuff.
What's up?
Boom. We just started. I feel like somebody who watches a lot of these is Tomas, so he's gonna be like, "Oh snap, you got this guy."
I feel like he hasn't seen me in a hot minute.
Nah, it's been a while.
Did you know the Google Drive is still active and everything?
It is FCR. FCR. It still has one of your tracks. If I become more prolific, I might do a remix of it or something.
Dude, go for it. If I can still find the original files, I'll make sure I'll give you the original files. But I've reformatted like 60, 70 times since then.
Stop trying to make the perfect track.
Oh, wow. Not only the perfect track, I get caught up trying to make the perfect computer and everything. So I'm always reformat. Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah, she over there kind of pushed me for it. So I tend to not treat myself. So when I do, I go big. I go.
That is the Texas way.
Yeah, this whole thing, all the streaming and everything that I've been doing has all been starting from her. I was about to bite the bullet and go back into building cars again. And
were you building cars? I don't know.
A long time ago.
Did you do that around like when we were all doing our thing?
Yeah, I was still a little bit into building cars, but I had kind of like fallen out of that. Like,
I feel like you drove something cool around that time. Yeah. But I didn't see.
I blew that thing up.
Yeah.
I blew it up bad. It was. I swapped the motor out a couple of times, and the last time that I had swapped a motor, I didn't check everything all before like going ham on it, and I was making a lot of smoke out there in the parking lot, and everybody started running out on the parking lot, and I was like, "Wow, cool! I must be doing awesome." And I thought the smoke was coming from my back tires. It was coming from the motor. The hoses from the upper and lower weren't clamped on real well.
Oh wow!
And yeah, I got fed up, and I'd realized like, okay, you were talking about money pits before we got started, and I realized like, okay, drifting, shredding a whole set of tires in like a day, it's probably not the best idea. Like, I could on that thing, I could have shredded a whole set of tires in about 30, 45 minutes, and that's probably not conducive to paying your student loans.
Nah. I mean, if the money's all right, then it's all right. But if it's not, it's not. That's why I haven't bought any lenses or. Like, even everything we use in here, I bought for other reasons, not for the podcast. Yeah. It's just I had it already, so this is what I got, you know?
That's a lot of the stuff for podcasting, or not for podcasting, but for streaming.
Yeah.
Like, the many monitors you see over here.
5, dude.
Those were leftovers from the radio station when they moved out from I-10 and Vance Jackson. They moved to Stone Oak. And my dad is the vice president of engineering for iHeart, and he asked me to help him out. And I was like, what are they going to do with all this equipment? He was like, I don't know, whoever gets the building. And still, nobody now has the building.
Damn.
So we kind of helped him move all the stuff that was being taken. And then things like 1080p monitors kind of came with me. I got about 13 of them. I've got 7 more at work that I've got set up. And they're all...
You can have one of those stereotypical Hollywood hacker like setups.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to look like. And I think it's kind of funny because my boss put me at like the very front entrance, so like everybody can see the front entrance of my office. So when they come into work,
look all impressed and stuff.
Yeah, especially because we just got bought out by a Norwegian company, and they were
shout
like,
out to Norway.
We want all your offices and cubicles and everything. We want you to look like you have, a whole lot of pizzazz and everything, which everybody.
Does that mean you're gonna have to go there at some point?
Well, there's a lot of people who are higher up who've been with the company
like, I don't even mean move. I mean like a visit, like a trip or something.
There are a lot of people there, but I haven't really made my mark there yet.
Gotcha.
I've been there just under a year. I decided to get out of radio because, as you can see, radio is not where it used to be.
Yeah, because you got people like me doing stuff.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah, and I find that to be beautiful because everything, you don't have any FCC violations to worry about. You other than, you know, all the new YouTube rules. I could talk to you for days about all these new YouTube
I ignore
rules
those because I'm like, that's for people who matter. I don't
well, yeah,
and I'm not doing nothing crazy. I'm just talking to people, so it's like, whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like, that and music, that would be more the scary part, because every now and then I film less and less people because it's hard to do all the things I was doing. But if I film a DJ, so then I'll get flagged a lot, you know, because they're playing other people's stuff.
Oh,
But if they're an EDM DJ, normally those flags are friendly. It's when it's not EDM, because EDM people don't seem to care. They just like, all right, just give me the revenue.
Yeah, I'd rather get my track
and
out
then
there.
free promo. But then everybody else not in the EDM world, I'll get like a hard flag, and it'll be what is it, like, you know, banned in like instead of saying banned worldwide, it literally lists like 87 countries.
All 87.
And I'm like, damn, like, you could just tell me like banned. So normally I have to edit whatever seconds out and stuff. Man, I used to suck back in the day. I hated it.
I couldn't stand, especially, I mean, you catch on Twitch from time to time, you were talking about becoming EDM friendly. Yeah. I just recently started getting back on Twitch, and there's like whole streams for like music production and EDM and DJs and everything like that. When I remember when Twitch first came out, and
this is games, dude.
Yeah, games only. If you do anything but games, you're banned.
Or they were cheat. Do you know who Raj Patel is?
Yeah.
So he does the dating show. So he started in RuneScape, and he would have RuneScape in the background, but still do the dating stuff with like the girls and the guy in the middle or whatever, you know?
Whoa.
Yeah. But later on, then IRL and it happened, you know, and now we're in a just chatting world. But once IRL happened, he still did the RuneScape thing as a joke, but eventually he just stopped doing it because whatever.
And and I've gotten onto there once I realized it was a tag that I could put onto my stream. I started being, okay, well, let's go see who's doing music production and everything like that, because I still do sound design and I still make beats while I'm at work and everything like that. I haven't put anything out, but I'm pretty close. I mean, I'd like to put some stuff onto that Google Drive pretty soon. So
I mean, I don't think that's where you want to put it now. I think FCR is dead, but I think, you know, put it. All of us are on Spotify now and stuff, so just release it for real.
Okay.
Just do that. I can tell you how to do it in like one line. You might know already.
Everybody
and their mama's on DistroKid right now. But if you're gonna sign up for that, use my referral code. Help a brother out.
Okay. All right. You got me.
Also, it takes like, I don't know, it's like some type of % off your thing too.
And after all of that, I've been following the discount train for like Native Instruments and Ableton and everything, because that's another thing she talked me into. She was like, well, I mean, if you want to be actually releasing music and everything, like, I mean, you're looking at a pretty crazy pirate over here, obviously, from back in the day, but I haven't done that in years. And I figured, well, you know, if I'm finally working, making money, and doing all of the for BTG Productions, which is like my side business, I do live broadcast engineering, and I've found a few ways to make Ableton fit into the business. So I'm like, oh, hey, taxes. All right. I like that. That fits in it. So she was like, well, if you can find it to make it work into your broadcast. So I found a way to make it work into my broadcast, and I'm going to be writing that off. So I got the full live suite version now, and
that's what's
I'm
up.
super excited. And so I've got it running on my side computer at work. So anytime I have some like extra time, I got back into doing all the old stuff, like, you know, shaping just making a drum set. I forgot how long it would take. So, and I forgot like my original process, because I found out that just trying to like build a track from beginning to end is kind of pointless.
We're in a Splice world now too. Like, I don't use Splice, but a lot of people are on it.
Oh, and Loop Loft, or
what's that?
It's a similar for more EDM. They were big into sample packs and stuff like that, and they're doing a very similar service too. I haven't subscribed to that because I just got into, like you said, the Splice world, and I've still got like 600 credits I need to spend on there. But she'll talk to me once a month and be like, Splice came out, and I'm like, oh shit.
Splice seems to be something that I've never been on it, and Yeah, my finances would have to change dramatically for me to ever go on it.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's cheap, but it's just like I don't need another thing there, you know. But I have a friend and he's on Armada right now, and I feel like because everybody I know on Splice has 4 million credits, you know,
like you build up quick, even on the lowest ream.
I think what he did, and I don't know if he did that intentionally, but I remember he was raving about it, and then like maybe after month 5 or 6, he was like, "Yeah, I got everything I needed. I'm good." Yeah, so I feel like it's just hang out for 5 months and then leave. You don't need to be there the way everybody stays there.
Now that you mention it, that's exactly how I've been doing it. Like I said, I got like 600 credits built up that I haven't spent.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
because I noticed that seems to be a pattern with a lot of people. Like everybody seems to be rich in credits.
Yeah. And there's only so many, especially when I realized that all of these different services that we've all mentioned, in a lot of cases, they'll have the exact same sample packs. So you're only there's only so many companies like releasing sample packs. So maybe it's the point to where you've got to be like, hey, maybe I ought to just save my money, get a nice microphone, and start actually getting my own samples again. I mean, there's YouTube videos out there showing you how to take like an awesome microphone like this, or one of the Sures that I've got over there.
Yeah, you don't need it. There's a lot of people killing the game without like buying all the things. Like, dude, like this right now, I know Raj just moved, but like this right now, like this setup murders Raj's original setup where he made it on, because he had a pre-built computer from Best Buy and Apple headphones and the blue mic everybody loves, and
the
Yeti or
Snowball,
something. Yeah, one of those things.
I had one of those too.
And that dude now gets like 20 to 40K people watching him on Twitch versus like you see all these people going ham on green screens and stuff. It's like,
well, and a lot of those a lot of these things where you can find a lot of that stuff for retail price, or you can figure out how to make it yourself. Like, my green screen is deconstructed right now, but it's right back over there. And all I did was take one of those metal rolling closet. God, I don't even know what it's called, but you hang your clothes on it and you. Yeah, a portable
I feel like
wardrobe.
you needed to be on here.
Yeah, my wife will help me out in any given point. She should be my manager.
Just because I feel like you seem to know a lot. Because this is my first time meeting you, but it's you seem to know a lot about this world too.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that you haven't been.
I have a lot of adverse childhood experiences.
Oh yeah, she's got stories.
I got stories that my therapist has me write out so she can dissect them and help me with trauma therapy.
Oh yeah,
EMDR type stuff or however.
PTSD.
Oh, okay.
But I have it from childhood experiences and adult experiences.
Yep.
And now I have a happy life and stuff with Sam. Everything's way different now these past 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a lot of people like write in here like, oh, what a long, strange trip it's been. Oh, it's been a trip already, and we've only been together about 4 years. So, and yeah, it was pretty intense meeting her. Like, I'd never dated a woman with kids before.
Real quick, did you want to come on? Because if you're gonna keep talking and there's no mic, then it's kind of like,
yeah. You kind of got to tuck into the mic.
Real quick and then I'll come join you.
All right, cool.
All right.
I liked it. I took out my frustration and anger through Mudvayne and Slipknot. I was like, they understand me. I must dye my hair blue and pierce my face. Scare my family.
Was that your thing? Were you like a metal person growing up?
Yes, I had a collage of bottle caps that I took from my mother. They were beer bottle caps. She was an alcoholic. Well, she still is. And I put them all over my ceiling. It was amazing. Whoever bought the house was probably like, what the hell is this shit? Like, oh, can I cuss on your podcast?
Yeah, you do whatever you want.
Okay.
Well, just don't whip out your tits.
And then
don't do that. Yeah.
No, it's not that kind of podcast. Plus that.
Well, what is that kind of podcast? What is that kind of
that kind of podcast might happen if there's an infant involved and he's hungry and I can't leave where I'm going. I'm everybody, this is Texas. It's legal.
Okay. I didn't follow you on half of that, but all right.
He said, what would like cause me to want to whip out a boob. And I'm like, well, if I'm breastfeeding.
Oh, okay. Now that all makes sense now.
Yeah. I used to do that in front of my mother and horrify her. She'd be like, there's men looking at you. I look up, there's no men. And if they do glance, they're turning away like really quick.
A lot of us are like, that type of mindset, yeah, definitely comes from like the older generation, but it's like we're creating these stories that all these people are paying attention to us and no one's paying attention to you, man. Like beyond that scenario. I mean, like in all the scenarios in life, you know?
Yeah, like
you
am I really looking for that person
because
who's breastfeeding?
of all these people who are paying attention to you and they're not. You know, like I have that issue, like it's a totally different issue, but it's the same thought that comes in my mind.
Psychology.
Dancing. Like if I dance, you know, like I don't really dance because I think I'm gonna look stupid or whatever, you know. But it's like no one out there is looking at you dancing, you know.
Yeah, I get that same feeling sometimes. Not with dancing, but with like music I like. Like I'm afraid to tell my friends, I'm like, what if they don't like the same music I like?
That was me. Right. So I spent my first 18 years in New York. That's where I grew up on. So that was me growing up when I grew up on 95% hip hop. But then like once the internet started rolling and Napster became a thing.
Yeah.
I get into my first not hip hop stuff, which was K-pop, right? And this is 1999, so K-pop was not normalized.
Wow,
the way it is
where it was though, it was big. It was
now
intense.
we're in a BTS world, and like they're performing at American shows. Right? I think they performed at the AMA, but back then I was like, I'd be like a weirdo, like hearing K-pop, or then next I get into J-rock and Japanese music. So like I was afraid to tell certain people that stuff because they'd look at me funny or something. But it's like, who cares, you know? But that stuff I don't get till later, the who cares part, you know?
Yeah, I like the music. Now I like music more because I married someone who's like a music man who makes music. And it takes you to a whole nother level. Like I used to be like, oh, I got to take out my frustrations and listen to metal music.
Yeah.
When he introduces me to like black metal or something and you listen to Let It Be and you're like, I'm gonna just relax now, and this music's taking me on a journey. And you know, it's as an adult you appreciate music more. And then you know, I also have the PTSD with music. So when I was
certain
growing
songs
up,
trigger stuff.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, like Benny and the Jets from Elton John, my mom used to play that over and over on the jukebox, and she'd get totally wasted at this Fatso Sports Garden in San Antonio. And I just, you know, I remember
can edit that name out later if need be.
Yeah.
We don't want to be giving them no bad publicity.
No, they're actually a really nice place.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just, you know, it was the closest bar near the house. And it's just every time I hear that song, I remember it playing on the jukebox. And I remember like the nights that I had to stay there as a kid all the time. And
yeah.
You know, so music can take you to a memory
it can.
More than like a smell can.
Yeah, and now, like she can probably understand why I'll listen to the same stuff, like years and years after. And if you see me on Spotify, you're probably seeing me like go through the rotation.
I don't have no one on my friends list on Spotify.
Yeah,
so
that is weird. Yeah, now that I think about it, there's like only 2 people I can think of off the top of my head that I ever see on that list, and it's the same
I just
2
never
people.
added anyone or checked. I don't know. It's never occurred to me to do they try to social media-rise everything, and I just never did that with Spotify. I know it's you mean with that because like all the hip hop or like K-pop even I grew up on like will take me back to that time. Yeah. Or music's a funny thing for me now because I almost don't even ever listen to it anymore.
No?
Yeah.
Even though like I'll still occasionally make stuff, but I have a weird relationship with it because like I've been hearing something lately, but that's more rare than not. But I hear music all the time because lately I've been driving like Uber and stuff like that, so I have that there. But the real reason I have it is usually going to be instrumentals, and it's just so I can freestyle. If it wasn't because I was freestyling, then I would probably hear like little to no music. And I wouldn't say it's a PTS thing, but like people who hear this show and people who hear me talk too much, like it's been like a big depression year for me. And some of it was over a girl, but now I realized I had nothing to even do with her. But she was my favorite artist in Texas, right? Still kind of is, still is. But I don't even hear her music too much anymore because of like what you were saying, you know? Because it'll just give me like memories or
you
something.
Miss her?
Something like that, yeah. Like, and it's like, it sucks because now I don't really hear it even though I like it, which is like conflicting, you know?
Well, it triggers a memory to where you go down a path of thinking of something that affects you. So It's just like that song, Benny and the Jets. Every time it comes on, I'm like, I'm sitting at the bar again, and she's drunk, you know? Yeah. It's the same memory that you go through. But yeah, I feel you on the depression part. Mental health and music are really good. They use that a lot in art therapy. I was just saying
music made me depressed, by the way. I just coincidentally that I don't listen to music.
Yeah. It can definitely make you depressed.
And it can do the exact opposite too.
Sometimes it can make you cry. I can't listen to like Jesus music sometimes.
You know? Well, I mean, I can't really listen to Jesus music to begin with, but
it's like it makes me cry too for different reasons.
A little bit.
I went to a Chosen event, and it's for all women, and they have a lot of music there. And you know, out of all the songs, I heard this one song. It really spoke to me because growing up, if you don't have like the best parents and they're like really big Jesus believers, and you start having your own negative thoughts on it, you know. Yeah. My mom was very much a Bible thumper, but she did she was like a sinner. Like, okay. So
we're talking about a piece of work here.
Yeah. So when I grew up, I was all, okay, well, I believe in God and stuff, but you know, I'm pretty sure everyone else thinks like, you know, a certain way about religion. And so I never really talked about it. But if I hear that song now, since I went to that Chosen event, I'm like moved by it. I'll send it to my friends, and then they'll be like, oh, little hearts, you know, here and there. And
yeah.
So you can do a lot with music. It can do a lot to you.
You can.
Well, and yeah, when I had met her, she had never really been like introduced to electronic music or anything like that. And that's what got me into it. Was I had just gotten released from the release, like I'm a football player or something. Back in like 2008, when like the recession hit really hard, I was one of the people who got laid off. And I was super depressed all the time. And because I'm one of those people who like identifies myself with what I do. I mean, clearly.
You can see the screens. All 5 of them.
Yeah.
I can go into more of it later, but sometimes I think about giving everything up because of that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Because sometimes you'll sit back and you're like, okay, I am all these things, and then suddenly like, what if I turn around tomorrow? What if I'm laid off again, and then suddenly I'm not all these things? Well, back in 2008, I didn't have a family, a kid on the way, a stepkid to take care of, and my dad's getting older now, so like I got to worry about pretty soon the time's gonna come to start taking care of him, and that's like really, life is intense with that. I mean, they tell you that when you're a kid, like those are the best years of your life, and you're like, God, I hope not. And then you like look back and think about all the crazy parties that we got to do, and I was like, oh, cool. And that takes me back to like you were talking about feeling awkward and dancing and stuff like that. I think most people, at least in first cast, that's why I liked y'all so much, because it was that same feeling that I have. Like, I love going to parties, but I am so antisocial.
I asked him out.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have the guts to ask her out. She asked me to go dancing. He did ask
me out, but that was after we had broken up. We were together for like,
skeletons.
A month? And then we broke up because I was like, you know what you want.
Yeah.
It's been a month. You got to know what you want.
She was like, shit, or get off the pot.
And we would go to jiu-jitsu classes together, and I would see him.
Too?
That's how I met her.
Oh, nice.
I'm a blue belt, but I can't roll right now.
It doesn't fit around her anymore.
My gi doesn't fit me, but yeah, I've been in the IBJJF competition.
Oh, you're like real good.
Yeah.
I've been in
she's
training at Ohana for like, 2 years.
Well over.
I had a calling, like in me. Like I really want to do that. Like
you should.
Maybe not. Like I don't know if I want to go like hardcore
He's
into
built for it.
You don't have to.
But I really, and I probably wouldn't mind it. The reason why I say I don't know want to, because I know I'm spread so thin and I'm not really taking care of everything I need. Because it's hard to do everything, you know.
Well, I'm just saying, with your height, and stuff, and your build, the guys would love you because they are always looking for tall guys in jiu-jitsu, especially those that are new, because y'all can be like practice for the higher belts.
Yeah.
And there's all different.
They need somebody to roll
types
and
of
tap.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go all
Sam,
hardcore,
you would be good
sport.
for him to roll with, especially if he competed in an open class against somebody who was bigger.
Oh, I got to get a surgery or two before that happens.
Yeah, he's got a shoulder thing.
Yeah, and what's crazy is it didn't happen really in jiu-jitsu. There's a reason they tell you as a kid not to horseplay. Well, like when you're an adult and nobody tells you not to horseplay, sometimes you forget. And
you get seriously hurt horse playing in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, like we were playing around, and I did a takedown kind of wrong, and it wasn't even jiu-jitsu. I was wrestling.
Yeah,
and it'd been a number of years, so I did it kind of like backwards. So the way we fell, I just kind of like brought the entire weight of the person like directly on my shoulder as we fell back, and I immediately knew something was wrong. But when that like sort of injury happens, like you don't feel all the pain right away. Like it felt like something was out, but I didn't feel the pain. So I like started to lean up, and then the pain set in. I was like, ah.
And then the pain really sets in. We're going to cut your gi off. No, I just paid $100 for this.
Now you feel twice as much pain.
It was crazy because one of the people training with us at the time was a really experienced dude who was previously a gymnast, so a lot of upper body strength, but he'd done the same sort of damage over the years to that same area. He was like, I can pop it back in for you. I can get this in, no problem.
Yeah, no.
And then one of our other friends,
a doctor.
Sue, she pops in.
She's an EMT, first responder. She knows.
Yeah,
she was like,
I'd recommend you not do it. I'd recommend you don't do this.
A doctor.
So the EMTs finally show up, and because like it was all bent up this way, but like
we're gonna cut your gi off.
Damn.
And so like they couldn't fit me through the doorway, so an ambulance had to come to like take me off in a stretcher. Which
this was on my birthday.
And I was the first one.
I didn't know him yet.
Oh, okay.
I was the first one
I looked at it. I was like, "What?"
To be taken out on a stretcher, which is so much more embarrassing too. And I'm sitting there laying there, and they're like, they should have like given me that shot of morphine beforehand. Because if they had given me that shot of morphine, they just put a needle in my arm.
He would have been like, I'm ready for another round. I can roll with Professor now.
Yeah. I wouldn't have given a crap about anything.
His arm's over there. He's like, it's fine.
But yeah, that's how we met. And I was coming out of work one night, and I was about 30 minutes before being off, and she was like,
you want to go dancing with me?
Well, I lived out in Converse, and she lived on Bandera
I'll be off in
Road.
30 minutes.
That was the old days.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, crap, now I got to get out of bed and get ready. I thought he was going to say no.
Oh yeah, no.
I really thought he was going to say no.
I came in flip-flops. I came in my UTSA flip-flops.
No, he passed up my apartment, and then he passed it up again. He wound up like in Lotus, because I lived off 1604 in Bandera, the intersection.
I guess I don't live in San Antonio now, but when I lived here, I lived there. Like my sister lives there, 1604 in Braun. So it's right next to it.
Not too far from where your apartment was.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. And there's the little.
It's gonna be like, man, everybody gets to be on a podcast with me.
Oh, yes, this is my kiddo. Okay, no. Because we're on the podcast.
You gave her the football. You gave her
we're trying to teach her. We're trying to teach her.
Trying to teach her boundaries.
Skills and stuff.
Oh, so I'm just learning that too this year. Like boundaries.
She is. She'll read your text messages. She'll come knock on. What are you doing in there? I'm taking a crap. What do you want? Oh my God. Dude, Are you almost done with your shower? Man. I heard the water turn off. Yeah, I'd like to dry off and get dressed. You know.
She's
the struggle.
She's a trip.
Jesus.
Yeah.
When you were an infant, I understood why you needed me, but now I'm like, you're just in.
Whoa.
You wait until I'm busy, and then you do
and then now look at you. We decided to do another one there.
Yeah. Now I'm like 10 years later. I'm like, I don't have another baby.
Yeah.
It's so different this time though, because it's gonna be so much simpler. I already know like things I need. Get up off the floor. Stop acting up.
She's got the experience.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of fun. That part, like I remember hanging out and everything. Oh, I'm never gonna get married. I'd never hung out with like a chick or any of the shows that we ever had. I never had a girl around or anything like that, and I never thought I'd get married. And I never thought I'd have a kid.
And I didn't think I'd get pregnant in a month.
I'm on my way to 2 kids. I'm like,
it's gonna take a year.
So she also needs to understand that that's not her camera, and she better not touch it.
Oh yeah, and when you have a 10-year-old girl, she's into everything that you're doing. Like you could be, just reading a book. What are you reading? What are you cooking? Why are you cooking that? Why are you reading that? What is that about? What are you watching?
That's cool. Curiosity. Don't lose it.
Yeah,
that
don't
stuff's
lose
super
the
important in the future.
Don't annoy people.
But I got her back.
We're in a post-Google world. So you can everything you're curious about, just Google it.
I told her, don't believe everything you see on the internet. She's like, I believe everything on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't believe that one.
Stop.
Definitely don't believe that one.
I love you. Let me do the podcast.
Yo.
She's very defiant.
All right, yo.
Very defiant. Like if you tell her to do something, she doesn't want to do it right away. I'm like, you got to listen, because what if you get a job one day and they tell you to do something? Are you going to be like, my boss told me to do that, I'm not going to do it now?
No, believe me, I know the struggle.
So we're teaching her like life lessons about stuff. Like we've got a new consequence board that's going up.
Oh, a consequence board.
Yeah, so if you're blocked from electronics and you're grounded, pushing keys on the keyboard because you feel like it is a no-no. Grabbing the cell phone just to give it to mom, that's a no-no. I didn't ask you for it. Just doing random things you're not supposed to. There's a consequence for it. Like today, she was rinsing off blueberries, and she's very careless about stuff that she does. Like she opened up a Ritz cracker last night and like dropped all the crackers everywhere. So she dropped all the blueberries in the sink. And they got soap on them and everything. And I'm still going to eat them. I'll rinse them off.
They'll be really clean. They'll be really clean.
That's really washing your fruit, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I told her, no, the consequences, if you drop them all over the place and get soap and get them dirty, you got to throw them away. So she's learning actions and consequences. Because she's really good at saying, oh, it's everybody else's fault. Like in life, you can't do that. And there's some people that do that. Like, well, I'm not at this level in life because of my parents. I could easily say that.
To some degree, I mean, that does play a factor. But it's up to us to realize. Because, man, like, you know, the power of our mind, right? It's up to us to realize that at some point, you have the power to change that, you know? I read, like, 2 books this year that kind of, like, changed my life dramatically. And one of them was Extreme Ownership. And pretty much it's written by like 2 Navy SEALs, and it had 2 main ideas. Everything is your fault, right? And one of the first version of that is super extreme, but basically because it gives your mind the power of belief in that if everything is your fault, that means you can also change it. No matter how much it might not be your fault, it's your fault, you know, because if it's your fault, then you can change it if you don't like it. And then the second reason was some people just really want to not take responsibility. So it's like let's say if we're fighting, look, it's my fault. Can we move on now? Like that's the second reason, you know, like, all right, it can't be your fault, right? It's my fault. Good. We still got to finish the mission though, because we need to get this done, you know? So it's my fault. I'll take the blame, blah, blah. Let's go. But those are like
it kind of gives you the summary of whoever takes the blame, even if both do, they still need to go forward in finding a solution.
And it kind of helps like defeat the purpose of like
that was number 2.
Because in a lot of cases,
that's good on marriage.
Yeah, well, blame like okay,
we never get anywhere blaming each other for anything.
Like let's move on, because what is that blame gonna resolve? It's okay. We're in this, and I tell her this a lot. Like whenever we're in a heated discussion, I'm like, okay, well, we're in this situation. Getting upset about it and is not like, let's talk about a resolution rather than like how,
because when you find
how much more angry
when you go down the path
you know?
Of resolution, you find out like what you can control, what's out of your hands, what's rational, irrational, what's you're going on emotions, and what's logic. And he's taught me a lot about that because I have issues with emotions and being irrational. So then he'll say, look at the logical side and know that you can't do anything about the situation, because I'll go crazy with anxiety and depression on things that I have no control over. And I feel like that's a lot of people. Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing is like you were talking about, you know, this year you've been dealing with depression. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you've maybe been dealing with it like for even longer than that, but just haven't realized it. You
That's
know?
why this was a big year for me. Like so that second book, Daring Greatly. I don't know, have you heard of that? Brene Brown?
Yeah.
Basically, that was the idea of like sharing all the things we're ashamed of with the people you trust and love or whatever, because that way it's not this thing that's limiting you. You know, it's almost like setting you free that you're comfortable to talk with other people about it, you know? Probably not saying that in the best way, but that's kind of the idea. So I started doing that with people, like with friends that, you know, I trust and stuff. And That artist, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we probably connect. He had read the book, coincidentally enough, too, you know? So we connected like that. But then, like, eventually I was able to do it with some of my family members, too. And, like, now I'm having, like, real conversations, like, with my family. But my sister told me, like, when I was telling her about the depression, I was like, you know, I kind of felt like you were always chronically depressed, like, for your whole life, you know? But I could sort of somewhat see it now, but definitely this is the first year where I noticed it. It was around February, and I used to always tell people I had 3 depressions this year, but I didn't really have 3 depressions. I think I had 1, and there just happened to be 2 girls in between that distracted me, so I wasn't really focusing on me, so I didn't really notice it till they were gone. Then it would hit me harder each time because I wasn't working on myself during that period of time, so it just kept growing, whatever it was that I wasn't dealing with, you know?
If you don't tackle depression head on and trying to cope with it, it will take over your daily activities. You will lose interest in things. Your confidence levels go down.
Yep.
And then you find confidence or self-esteem in other people. So you can be in a relationship with someone who makes you feel good, but at the end of the day, if that person's not there, you're not going to get
creates
that
like
feeling.
A codependency thing.
Yeah, it creates a lot of codependency.
And that's where, like, there's a lot of times where, like, I'll notice that beginning and I'm like, I gotta stop that. So I'll tell her, hey, go do something on your own.
I just love you so much.
I know. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I'll get separation anxiety from him.
Yeah.
Especially like in the mornings. If I spent all week with him and he was on vacation for the holidays, once he has to go back to work the next day, I'm like kind of sad because, you know, I'm at home, but he's 12 minutes away. So
yeah.
I'm like, is he going to another country or is he just going down the road?
And not only that, I'm like accessible on every form of everything. So it's not like I'm a million miles away. And most of the time, like, that's what I'm going to be trying to do is when the baby comes, be working from home a lot more, which is hopefully going to be pretty, I don't know. I did it last week and it was nice being home and everything, getting to work on my schedule, not having a million people and having to have that. Like, my office is really cool, but even then it's still an office and you got to keep that somewhat level of tight knit decorum and everything. But
he wore pants.
Yeah. Every once in a while, they tell me to wear pants. So, I mean, they've never outright demanded that I wear pants, but I mean, they have asked, hey, we just got bought out by a Norwegian company called VizRT, and it's been really cool. A lot of changes, but it's been a little bit stressful. I mean, a lot of these people who I work with have been with the same companies for a long time, so they've never experienced a buyout. And I came from iHeartMedia when it was still Clear Channel before they had separated to Clear Channel Outdoor and all that stuff. And woo!
I need an awesome ringtone. Mine's just like the random one.
I'll tell you about this when he's done.
No, I had been through like corporate mergers and all of that stuff before. So, like, you know, I hear about new and exciting changes all the time. And, you know, I went into this one with a little bit of skepticism, but so far I've been kind of like remiss to say that I've been, you know, kind of my apprehension has been misplaced. So that's been a pleasant surprise. This whole company, when I had first found out about them, getting into like the streaming and podcasting world, because there was a lot of stuff from the audio world that applied. And once I started learning how to stream, I thought, okay, cool. And it spiraled its way into a job, which is really cool in and of itself. And working for New Tech and learning how to use their products and stuff has been a whole lot of fun.
And they let us go by there and they have chocolate blocks. And I love that. And there's like all these sodas and
they treat their employees really well, and I've been really happy. Why are you getting drinks
from the house? Like
since getting out of radio was you talk about depression and like being stuck in the same rut for so long. I had been stuck at the radio station since I was 16 years old. It was my first job, and I thought, this is me. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And anytime somebody was like, what do you want to do? Or what do you do for work? I was like, oh, you ever seen that show Frasier? And they're like, they used to say, yeah, but now it's gotten so old. They're like, huh?
Yeah, no, my family loves it. A lot of people love it.
Yeah,
my grandparents would watch it
I'm
all
that
the
chick
time.
Roz, and they'd be like, oh, I know
knew
what
you were
you
gonna
do.
say that.
Yeah, exactly.
He's Roz.
Yeah, I do her job, and I took a lot of pride in that. And automation, I saw it happen in Ableton. I was like, this is awesome. I love it. It's in all sorts of software now. Automation is taking over everything, and it's a scary thing. But when you see what you can do with automation, you can literally replace like a 5-man broadcast with
He's an awesome producer
if
too.
it's set up right. But I mean, you look at like producers like Sam Shevin. Like if you ever, I don't want to give away any of his secrets, but like he uses a lot of Ableton's programming in the scene clips and everything when he does a live show. And
I just put out a Christmas one because his birthday is on Christmas.
I saw that.
Oh, Christmas, baby.
Yeah, so like we did it 2 years ago and we did it again this year. I want to try to do it annually as long as I'm still in this area. He just plays a set and I film it. That's it. That's not too crazy, but it's fun.
And when we first got all hooked up, I started looking at him playing like the stuff that he does with Ableton. I was like, some of the features that he was using, I was like, why would you use that? And then I would watch him use them. Oh, okay, I get what this can do. Yeah. And with the TriCaster and stuff like that, we've got like automations and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, this is still really bad because I see how it can replace people doing a lot of creative work, but I see where the direction is going, and that access to like the everyman being able to. When you showed me how. When you asked me, you were like, do you want to do this podcast? And I've been seeing your podcast on Facebook. I figured you were going to bring in like tons of equipment. And you brought in like 2 backpacks that were barely half full.
You're going to bring in a whole sound room.
Yeah.
I'm not even using it now. Like I said, it's more for other what if scenarios.
Exactly.
It's not even for this.
The ability of all of this technology to like give that power to... It takes that power away from the corporations, which is what I really like. Because I've had to work for them.
Now we're in an Anchor... I think it's Anchor or Anchor FM world. Like people would just be podcasting off their phone, And like, everybody does one now.
And you'd be
so
shocked.
I'm trying too hard with this. I just
this
like
is pretty cool. I like this mic.
It is. It
is
cool.
And you'd be shocked when you bring up the phone how many actual like professional football teams and NBA teams will, actually use their iPhones and just email the interview that's done off the iPhone. No other attachments, just the regular speaker itself. And if you're still doing AM radio, you can't tell the difference on AM radio. But if you're back at the studio, you can definitely hear the difference. But I like the idea of giving that message to everybody. That's what I loved about SoundCloud before they had all those like tiers of service and everything.
When it was good.
Yeah. And, I definitely that's another thing I found out was copywriting your own music and then trying to play that music on a stream when Twitch or actually specifically YouTube didn't know. Thanks YouTube. I got a copyright strike for playing one of my own tracks on SoundCloud, like while I was streaming, and it listed
you can't
my
play
own
your
name.
own music.
Yeah, I mean it was obviously like clearly an error, but I wrote them I wrote them in the you get a chance to rebut it, I guess.
How am I infringing on my own copyright?
Yeah, and I basically wrote that. I was like, I made and this was one of the tracks where I definitely didn't use any loops for this one because a lot of my music is like heavy loop basses. I'll get a big base of loops and then create stuff over it. And there was a lot of time where like Mr. Brown, Fletcher was like, hey, like try creating it all from scratch.
Oh,
so
man,
I did
Mr.
that.
Brown, jeez.
And so
that just kind of hit me. It's been a while, dude.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
She hasn't met him either. He hasn't come down from Washington in a hot minute. So I may have to.
Yeah, he's been hiding all his friends from me. I'm like, all of my friends. We're having a baby shower on Saturday, and there's like 46 people coming.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, why did you throw such a big shower? Jesus.
Well, like from our perspective, like he I mean, like outside looking in, like you were in a certain place in life, so I think you just started doing like the things to make yourself better.
I had to.
At the time, we might not see it like that. It's just like, all right, I guess Sam's gone, you know, like, and we interpret that how we interpret that. But me having had to see other people do that and me myself attempt to do that in times, you know, now I can understand that more. But yeah, like,
it was mainly watching the student debt build up.
That was this art life, man. Like, we've all had to transition, not fully out of it, but out of it in certain way, because like, it became maybe our main thing. The same way, like maybe like a person was my main thing. These have also become my main thing, and have driven me to a corner that I've only now just realized maybe I don't want to be in this like this place. Yeah, at least not this hard, you know. But yeah, like that's why maybe you don't know a lot of us. We're from a different time, a different era.
Like, oh yeah, there was. I mean, between here and Austin, there's been a ton of parties that have been played, and most of them are just like covered in LED light.
I have a pool party
on
my YouTube channel of his. If you want,
I've shown it to her.
It was awesome. I really like the mix that he did and stuff. And
there's a lot of errors on there, but
Bilal lives
really
in that thing now. He's the only one who still lives there in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I really want to go back there. That was a fun. I love
didn't get to have
Austin,
any of those
and I kind of
experiences
hate
growing
Austin
up, so I kind of like watching
his.
I mean, like, you can always come visit, and like, I guess of all of us, maybe Tomas the only one who still plays like that. I don't play really.
I still want to get back into like releasing my music somehow. I mean, I'm obviously never.
There's a crew here that for episode 100. I did that sounds so wrong. I was gonna say I did his wife. His wife did my podcast.
Okay, that sounds better.
I did his wife.
No worries.
I was like, yeah, like, and so his name's Brainwave. But like him and like the people like Xylo's part of it. Like, they're all kind of forming a little collective here, and they'll be doing like Thirsty Camel shows. So you should probably go one day.
I missed that place.
It's so. I haven't been, but from what they're describing to me, it's not like. They have it's not trash. Like,
that was
because when I went there years ago, it was trash. But apparently, like, one of the guys has a bunch of lights and whatnot and stuff. And made it like look cool, at least for them. You know.
How did you get into playing music and shows and everything? Just in college and everything, or?
Yeah, so I don't start making music till unlike like, did you start before you were 20?
I played in bands in high school.
Yeah, see,
I didn't like playing with other people.
In a lot of ways, music was always my life, but never making it.
Yeah.
Like you said, the pirate stuff. Like, one of my friends in New York who's probably made more beats than most of us, like than some of us combined. You know, I remember on his phone he had them shits in order by year. You know,
Dang.
But he's a hip hop guy, so hip hop guys they shit out beats. You know,
that's
like Eminem and his rhymes.
And watching how like Lil Wayne will just take a pile of those and like his production process of like how he writes music. I was pretty taken aback. I was like, whoever writes the actual music for him has to probably have like beat after beat after beat out.
A lot of them, and I'm getting to this place in myself too. Like, just don't take it too seriously. You just kind of just do a lot, and it is what it is, and that's what it is.
It's kind of like when he did that freestyle rap.
At least twice a year.
What was that freestyle rap that Lil Wayne did? He's like, oh yeah, potato. Like,
so you know what's funny with him? Like, before I was rapping, like, so I used to listen to that guy when he was in the Hot Boys, like, so he was never even the one.
Back in the year 2000, right?
But I never imagined he would be like, for a lot of people, like one of the best rappers ever. Like, and I don't know if I'll agree with that, but when I heard him rap and his flow, I would say this, like, that dude is so confident, like, because he's doing things that are like, a lot of people would feel sound bad, or a lot of people as the rapper themselves would feel sound bad, but he's just so confident in himself that he sounds so unique and different to him at the time, especially, you know?
Yeah, Carter 3 was really good. I like that one.
Yeah, so that's when I was like that's when I gave Wayne a chance as Wayne the God, you know, like not when he's in the Hot Boys and the Block.
He started doing real good. He was merging with the game, right? He was doing duets with the game. And
yeah. So at that point, he's already blowing up. He got songs with Jay-Z and all these people. And he's like dominating, and Baby's about to kill him, like in Thanos. He's about to pull the snap line. And then murder, because who knows where his career would have been had Baby not done that. But I don't even remember where I was going. Oh, anyway, music was my life.
Sorry.
Like, yeah. No, I'm
Wayne.
a big tangent king. So I was yeah, man, hip hop was the thing, and I would always hear it, and I hear it on tapes and hear it all the time. So I spent a lot of time on this stuff. Then the internet comes, and I didn't make the beats, but I got FL Studio 2.5 or 3, one of those. I gave it to that guy, and he's the guy who makes beats. So I was like always around it. He would make beats in my house because at that certain point he didn't even have a computer, so he would just do it in my house. So like we're just doing it there, and I'm around it there. In high school, I become a bootlegger. So like now I'm getting like music from the internet and from real. The mom and pop shops would sell it earlier.
Like old school Napster?
Yeah, so like old school Napster.
Oh snap! I used to burn CDs.
Yeah. So, but I was still selling cassettes. You know, that's how old. Yeah, so I was selling
the
cassettes.
AOL dial-up.
Yeah. But also, mom and pop shops would get albums before. Usually, 5 albums used to come out on Tuesdays back in the day, so they would get them around Thursday evening, and then I would get them there. And then I would have like 5 days to sell it before everybody else as like a cheap exclusive, you know? So like it was always kind of a part of me. And then I made mixtapes, and I couldn't afford like real decks.
Yeah.
But I had a Newmark mixer, so I just put in like 2 CD players.
Yeah.
And it was just bad crossfading because it couldn't you can't beat mats on normal CD players or nothing. But like I didn't even know what a beat mats was. But everybody was like, yo, you can crossfade. So I would just have everybody just write whatever they want on like paper on loose leaf in school. And then I would take that paper and then just make them the mixtape. And if I didn't have it, I would just download it from, Napster or whatever. And I look at myself back then. I was like, yo, man, I was like...
hustling.
Yeah, I was like, what happened? Because I come here and I didn't do none of that.
I should steal my brother's CDs.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I walked up to everybody in that high school. And I was like, yo, I sell stuff. You want? I sell stuff. And I ain't doing shit. I was like, yo, if I did that
every day I'm hustling.
Yeah.
every day.
I mean, from where we're at now, we could go to the smoke shop just a couple blocks away, and we'd have at least 5 people doing that on the way.
Yeah.
There's a smoke shop right up the street where every time I'm going there, there's somebody selling a stereo system out of the back of their truck.
You know, I like when they sell perfume.
Either they're really successful at it or they're really unsuccessful at it, because they're there with, and it looks like the same stereo system every single time.
I'll haggle the shit out of these people.
No. But you know the trick where the thing's full of bricks. It's full of some heavy stuff.
Come on, open it first.
Yeah, exactly. You ask them to open it, they won't let you open it. See what you got. But yeah, that's the hustlers we got around here. But I remember what you were talking about with my buddies. StarCraft would come out like, hey buddy, can I borrow your CD for a couple of days? Well, I can't play without the CD. Well, can I bring my CD burner over to your house and burn it? Please, I'll give you $5 and I'll burn you 10 more copies so you can sell them. And I remember doing video games, but then I was always into music because my mom, like, I was born to like kind of older parents.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up, all my friends would be like, hey, your grandma came in and had lunch with us and it was awesome. And I would be like, no, dude, that was my mom. But, now that I'm older, looking back on it, I realized like I got a taste in music, and that's probably where I got into EDM was, my dad was a DJ in the 70s, and I got into like Bill Withers and all of these like old R&B artists and disco, and my mom was like huge into Creedence Clearwater Revival and a lot of stuff that the same people my age, like I remember growing up and trying to talk about it with them, like assuming that their parents were like mine and they'd have no idea what I was talking about. And now that I'm older and got around like the first cast people and getting to college, essentially, like we were talking about college and how it's it's not for everybody. I don't think I was one of those people who should have been in college, but I wouldn't trade that time for the world.
Yeah, no, I still had a great experience. It's just like I didn't get whatever he's supposed to get from college. I got the experience. I know you. I know Tomas, right? I know Mike, who you might not remember. I know Silo.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Not Mike Fletcher. Mike. Did you know a Mike Phillips, Ableton?
Yeah.
Guy? Okay, yeah. He's in like Virginia or Washington now, like around that area.
Yeah, he was a real quiet guy, so I never really talked to him a whole lot, but his sets were like insane.
He did my podcast too. He's maybe like 10, 15 episodes ago. Because he'll come visit in Austin. His sister lives there. thinking maybe he might move back there. We'll see.
I hope so.
And
I mean,
we might even room together, but we'll see.
That's a lot of the other, people from my other friend groups, like not associated with them. They've all moved up to Austin too. That's why she was saying earlier, I haven't met all of his friends. Well, the only people left that live here are Ping, Lang, and AJ. And
Ping still lives there?
I think they're
haven't
moving.
met
I think
them.
they moved back to Austin.
I met AJ though. He's pretty cool.
I think even they moved up to Austin too. So I'm kind of like a lone wolf down here.
Austin's a weird thing for me. Like
that's why
you got to keep Austin weird.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Austin's a weird thing. Well, you got to keep Austin weird.
I mean, I could answer that, but I was like, man, I didn't even answer the music thing. I'll do it quick because I know I can do the elongated story. So I moved here when I'm 18, and a week later, my father, he didn't want to be in New York without me, so he moves too. And then eventually I hear Dream Theater, right? And you know them? Do you know Dream Theater, a band?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So they do all this crazy prog, long-ass music stuff. And I'm hearing, I heard them in high school, and I thought it was amazing. But it's just, I guess after hearing them a certain number of years, man, I kept hearing these two songs, Metropolis and Learning to Live. And they both have these long-ass instrumental passages in them. And I was like, man, it would be really cool to make stuff like this. Because I was like, at that time, the internet's not as prevalent. So, they're the prog band that could stand out because the others don't get the sunlight that they did. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. So I asked my father, he'll teach me guitar, but he's retired. So he said no for a lot until I bothered him. Until I bothered him enough. And so he was fine. And he ends up being one of my few, it's almost like I learned he ends up becoming my friend here versus the relationship maybe we had in New York, It's because I didn't really have friends here. I didn't know how to drive here because I'm from New York. Yeah. So he lived across from me. So I was like, well, I can make it to your house, So I just spent a lot of time with him. But yeah, I learned guitar from him. And then eventually I was going to do the C-ball class, which is how I meet you probably. But I couldn't wait. I think I applied in December, but I get Reason before then. And then me, my mom, and my sister, we put $100 each to buy this MIDI keyboard. And I had Reason, and I messed with Reason from that guy I gave FL Studio in New York. And then I just messed with that, and I probably learned more Reason there than I do in C-Ball's class. Dude. But C-Ball's class is how we meet all the people, and that's what made it great. And it gave me a job there and all that. Yeah. So it still worked out.
Dude, really I remember all that. Yeah, because you were working there when I was still thinking about going into that. And he was actually coming into Radio Shack. God, throwing back some old stuff. That's I had met him.
Remember
and didn't
Radio
know who
Shack?
He was.
He did my podcast too, by the way.
Wow. Yeah, because Fletcher was he was like, okay, what instruments have you played? Can you read music? I was like, well, I used to be able to read music, and he was trying to help me learn how to read it again and things like that. He was like, you can't play guitar because they don't accept that instrument. I was like, okay, well, I used to play drums and stuff like that. So he was helping me. And then one day I was working at Radio Shack, and this older gentleman came in, and I was helping him with some of the small parts and pieces because they didn't exactly train the Radio Shack employees the way they used to be trained back in the day, but my dad had given me all of that, the resistors and stuff. So I was helping him look for some resistors and things like that. And he was like, wow, you know a lot about that kind of stuff. And I was telling him I was like, my buddy's trying to actually help me get into this music program at UTSA. And he just gets me to open up and start telling him all this stuff. And then he just introduces himself right before leaving. I was like, oh, geez. He was a pretty intense dude. I really wish I could have gotten to take his class, but I got to take Chris Klein's class because
he's done my podcast too. We just talked about Star Wars a lot.
Man, Baby Yoda, don't get me started.
Oh, dude,
please don't.
This woman didn't know anything.
I want to dress
up
my baby in the Baby Yoda costume.
Yeah, and now she's a super fan.
I
guess that's what Halloween is next year.
Yeah.
No, when I have him, I'm just gonna dress
just
him
normal life.
Yeah, normal all the time.
Everyone knows I love the Mandalorian.
She got me lightsaber chopsticks for Christmas.
Oh yeah, he got I told him check this out, and he's like, I need those now. Get me all of them.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, come down.
This woman reads my mind because I was thinking about I eat a lot of ramen and sushi.
He's been
and
wanting
stuff
some
like
new
that.
chopsticks.
So yeah, chopsticks are
like
a regular part of
Asian or
my life.
something.
And we'd been watching a lot of Star Wars.
A
and
lot
I
of
was like,
yakisoba.
I bet you those exist somewhere. And
yeah, and then our
I had
other
been
friend
thinking
comes
about it,
out
and
with like
she
even
finds
better
them.
lightsaber chopsticks. I'm like, those are a little expensive.
Yeah, $14.
They're like made of
first
metal and glass. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, but Klein was. He was one of the.
He got me into industrial light and film when I was in NorCal. So I've been in there.
Crazy. He got me into Radiohead. I had never understood that.
He's like, he got me into a band. I'm like, well, he got me into a physical location where they make Star Wars.
Oh my god!
Like when
totally
I was in NorCal.
Yeah,
no, I went to the place. I couldn't take any photos. They made me not do that. They
That's
said if you
pretty
take photos with an employee, so we know who did it.
Are you? You're talking about the actual filming place?
Yeah. I saw like George Lucas's like library and stuff.
Oh wow!
And, it's like an actual ranch up in
Lucky
NorCal.
you.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, because one of the person who got me in there was one of his students. You know.
Sam's like grabbing his chest, like, oh my god, can't believe you saw it.
I saw some like real lightsabers and stuff.
That is so awesome. We have like
I thought you were talking about a band for a second. I was like, that's awesome.
No, the actual like Lucas thing up in NorCal.
We're friends with a couple that's obsessed with Star Wars too, and then now we're like Star Wars couple. I don't know. I just love Baby Yoda. I can't believe they hit him.
About 2 months ago, she hadn't even
Pissed
seen
me
any
off.
of the movies.
I was like, first you fucking drop him, then now you're hitting him. This is like, I'm about to call like Universal CPS on their ass.
And then I made the mistake of telling her it was
Poor
Jason
baby.
Sudeikis. Now she hates him. Like,
Yeah, now I hate him.
I'm like,
Now I hate
you know
him.
the guy?
I want to hit him. I'm gonna chug him out.
Yeah, she hates him.
Get him in a real good armbar. Just break it.
Oh, she's violent. She can get
Hyperextension
violent.
all day.
That was my favorite move in the day. Armbar.
The armbar?
Yeah.
Did you do jiu-jitsu?
No, but like
You
when
should.
we were in, definitely want to, and I will at some point. But in high
Come
school,
with us. It's free.
doing Pride. Do you know Pride?
It predates UFC.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
no,
I used to
but
be in
I
this
would
stuff
watch
a
it.
long time too. So before
That's cool.
1999.
That's cool.
UFC
So, like-
eventually bought Pride.
Yeah, R.I.P. Anyway.
So you've grappled before?
No, again, no and yes, because did I do it for real? No, but like the guy who got me into that, like he was doing jiu-jitsu, so we used to do it like street style, same way people do like street boxing and stuff like over there in New York.
Yeah.
We used to do it in the street, so a lot of us in high school we were just.
Ow, your poor knees.
I know, because we didn't know what we were doing. We weren't like we were kids, but we're
Doing
before
shots
18,
on
so it was
asphalt.
good to do it
Oh,
because
shit.
we're in high school, so like we're not really gonna get hurt. And we would do it on subway
My
trains.
body is resilient now.
And in snow, it was kind of ridiculous. Like now
Snow
that I
is
look
not
back
bad.
on it, now I look back on, I was like, what the hell was we
Danger.
thinking? You know, but we're kids having fun. But the armbar, I used to love that. And then and since it wasn't as prevalent as it is now, like most people like didn't know armbar. Like my people were like Sakuraba, dude. Like do you know Kazushi Sakuraba, the Gracie hunter?
I've shown you.
I think so,
You've
yeah.
you've
He's a
definitely
Japanese
seen
guy.
his
All he
fights.
does is just get beat up. But like if
Oh, no.
But back then refs weren't lenient, so he would just get beat up a lot, like Ali. But then like in the end, he'd win. You know,
And especially
Yeah.
in his Japanese fights, like the refs
Yeah.
are way the
because he was
whole
the great
crowd is
Japanese
different
hope.
there.
Yes,
Yeah.
it wasn't like the great white. He's the great Japanese hope. So it's
And-
just this little man
Yeah.
who was beating people. Maybe that he shouldn't, because Japan has like different rules, so it's more lenient to open weight. And you know, like,
Yeah, I like the Gracies though. In UFC 1, was it Hoist Gracie?
Yeah.
he beat. So originally,
He beat everybody.
I think eventually when he's old, finally a Gracie beats him. But like, yeah, Sakuraba, like he has like a 1 hour fight with Hoist. You know,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
Because
that's
they did
cool.
30-minute rounds back in the day. Jeez. like,
We do
The-
6-minute rounds
the
now. We're
Japanese
tired.
but that's
Or-
MMA rounds too, not even
Exactly.
like jiu-jitsu rounds. This is MMA rounds.
The-
Because
Real
these are
street
MMA
fights
fighters.
last longer.
The fight community is different in every country, and Japan is particularly like insane.
Soccer
they
kicks
do
were legal back then.
mismatches.
Yeah.
Like you've seen where I've shown you the big American, the super big American dude, and
See, he's
the
calling
tiny-
mismatch because he's American. It's called open weight.
open weight.
It's called open class, honey.
Open class.
I
So,
had my little friend.
But-
She went up against this real big girl.
Yeah.
She won. I was
Exactly.
like, I can't even see you. You're stuck under that lady. I see your head.
But yeah, the crowds really go for that kind of stuff. Whereas like here, most everybody's gone by the time open class shows up. So
dude, it's like the last thing that happens at the end of the thing, open class. It's all the matches first at IBJJF and then open class.
Yeah, that's the tournament circuit for jiu-jitsu and a lot of UFC fighters that's where they get it's kind of transitioning out from that more gyms are like just dedicating to straight MMA or just straight jiu-jitsu. But back in the day, it would be like a wrestling gym and they would have their fighter, or a boxing gym and they would have their fighter, until it became like a more unified sport the way that it has. And
that's how I get out of it, because it's like visually, I feel like 90% of MMA fights are boring, because everybody's kind of the same, because people don't learn nothing now. They learn MMA. Mm-hmm. So they learn, which makes sense. I get it, but it's also very boring because almost everybody does the same thing. And the only people who stand out now are the freaks, which I don't pay attention too much. So I only know John Jones, who's still active. But people like that, because he's crazy and he'll bring his uniqueness. But a lot of people don't bring uniqueness. They're just good at the things that you're supposed to do. Like, they're not doing anything crazy or bringing nothing cool. Like,
I don't know. Nate Diaz is pretty good at taking hits.
He's like from my time too, though.
He's from my. Yeah, you're bringing up another old fighter. Yeah. I don't want to say old, but
I like the ones that have
him calling me out for a fight. No, nothing.
Jiu-jitsu trained.
But he's unique too. The
MMA
Diaz
person is better than just a straight MMA trained only, because you'll see it better in the takedowns. You'll see it better when they do their submissions and stuff. On their ground game would be a lot better than their stand-up game. That's fun to watch. It's like you see them taking shots and the reaches are good and the hits are connecting, but once you actually see them like up against the cage, it gets boring. Just them hugging each other.
Yeah, well, and that's I came from like wrestling, and I did wrestling in high school, and I got to a pretty high level and almost went to college for it. So I'm all right in the gym and everything when it comes to like normal people.
It's impossible to take him down. Even the brown belts have a hard time.
Normal people I'm okay with, and we've got one of the UFC fighters who trains at our gym, and I got to wrestle with him one day.
He's a different species.
Yeah. This kid.
Well, he's doing it all the time. Yeah, I mean, he's doing it all the time.
I mean, he's
a brown belt.
Stature-wise, he's not too much bigger than me, and I'm not a big fella, but he's like 40-50 pounds more in muscle and supplements and
he's all
of
muscle.
That jazz. Yeah, so I did a standard takedown that I've done over 1 million times, and he didn't move. He didn't move.
He didn't even have to block it. It's just strong.
He was just.
Are you cemented into the ground?
Like those old Looney Tunes cartoons where it's like the big dog and the little dog, and the little dog's like, "Where are we going today, Spike?" And he's just like, "Shut up."
I'm moving an anvil.
At that same token, he's like, him and a few of those other MMA fighters are like, they made me realize how old I am, because they're like the first people who call me sir in like seriousness. I was like, it hits you in the heart and the stomach simultaneously. Yeah. So,
but there's some people that come in that it's fun to watch him roll with, because like sometimes there'll be a newbie come in and they're like totally spazzing out. And when he was a white belt, they'd be like, "Oh, we're just gonna go up against someone who's at our level." Well, Sam doesn't have a shirt that says "I used to be a wrestler." So, when they...
Sounds like we should get them that shirt.
When they would get stuck in his guillotine and they couldn't get out, or he would get a single leg on them that, they're like, "You're doing single legs like a blue belt," is because he had already done that for so long.
Yeah. It's...
Do we let him in, or...
No, he'll be all right.
If you let him in, we'll just put him in the room.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
And then he'll cry in the room.
He's
an attention whore, and he wants attention.
I get it.
He mostly wants your attention, probably. He's like, "There's a new person. That's my new friend."
The new blood.
Yeah.
Hush, Rig.
I will warn people against the WAG service, just for the fact that if you do it for long enough and you don't have like the same standard walker every single time, eventually your dog will start thinking that anybody who walks through the door is there to take him for a walk. And
I'll pause and then I'll go put him in the room.
All right. Well, yeah, just hand him the mic.
He'll be all right. Just leave it there.
But yeah, he's one of those rescue dogs. I found him about 4 or 5 years ago walking up IH-10. And he was all scarred up, duct tape across his mouth and stuff like that. And he was just walking on the sidewalk of the access road on the Vance Jackson exit. And I like pulled into the radio station because it was there at the time. And he followed me right up there, and he's been with me ever since. He's a ham, but yeah, I like him. But he's pretty needy all the time.
That's what dogs are, man.
Yeah. There's always something going on or something to be tore at.
So I have these things that called the life questions.
Okay.
I can hit you with
life
that.
questions. My friends are always doing that. I'm like, why do you want me to put my security questions online?
What is a life question for your friend? I'm just curious. I mean, for the podcast, I know what they are. But
they sound like more like security questions. Like, if you were to travel, where would you go? You know,
but I mean, there might be some.
Have you ever gotten a tattoo? Have you had surgery? Have you seen somebody die? Like,
when I ask
stuff like that,
people like you two, I feel like this is always a silly question to ask, but it's just on here. Like, who is your best friend?
He's my best friend.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's why it's a stupid question.
But honestly, you should be your own best friend. Because what if he passes away one day and he was everything I confided in, he was everything that I wanted around all the time, and then I no longer have like a self-identity.
That's where I tell her a lot of the times, like, because I've seen it happen in families where like everybody plans for one thing, and I remember my family teaching me like, you know, you make plans and God will laugh at you, and it never really made sense until like I started realizing that, hey, this family planned for so and so to die first, and they didn't die first, you know, that kind of stuff, and it got me thinking. It's like I want her to be my best friend and everything, but you know, if something were to happen to me, I'd want her to be able to, like, you know, move the hell on.
Yeah, so. You got to look in the mirror and know that you can depend on that person too, and that person will be there for you too. Because at the end of the road, it's really just you and yourself and God. And
I'm trying to get to that place for me. In August, you know, I'm just wrapped up in emotions and stuff. But in this chase to I guess have this special day with this girl, like I was probably at the most confident I ever had been in my life, like ever. It was kind of ridiculous. Like I talked to certain people from New York, they heard me. I remember one guy, he said he ducked my phone call one time because he felt so bad about his life hearing me talk so amazingly positive about mine that he's like, he called me back 10 minutes later. He's like, dude, I ducked your phone call because I was like, I don't know who you are right now. I don't know if I could take this again because I felt like I'm living life wrong. But I was like, and another person who always puts me in check, I was able to kind of talk to him at like maybe at this equal level that I've rarely been able to do. But like then I came crashing down, and then I had a depression 3 or whatever, like which really, like I said, isn't depression 3, but trying to find that for myself. Like, how do I get that same insane confidence I had back then, but like not built around another person, but more like just for me? And that's,
find things that interest you and only you, and build on those things and set one goal at a time, because you can definitely get lost in even somebody who isn't a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I took care of my mother for several years, and she was a narcissistic person who saw me as a possession. And I learned that later on, but you know, you can lose your own identity in trying so hard to please somebody else, even if they're not making you happy. So say you do find someone that you really like, you could spend all your time trying to make that person happy, but they might not repay you the favor. Then you start building resentment for that person that you cared so much about. We kind of build people up to be perfect in our minds when we first meet them, and we get infatuated, which is a normal euphoria to have when you first meet someone. But you don't want to get totally lost in that, because nobody is perfect. And for a long time, and I still think that way about Sam, he is somebody that is pretty close to what I've always wanted, and I love him so much. But he told me the other day, it's a lot of pressure for someone to think you're perfect.
This is weeks ago, yo.
Yeah, this is weeks ago.
Weeks isn't the other day. I'm just saying.
It was
I bring up shit from 10 years ago. No, it's
she's not as bad as some relationships I've had about bringing stuff up in the
One
past.
thing that really stuck with me that he's always done is help me build myself. help me to recognize things that I like about me. Because if someone can help you be yourself more and accept yourself, especially if you have trouble with self-esteem or confidence, you'll really love that person more than just loving their self-esteem and their confidence. If he were just to show me every day how confident he was, that doesn't mean that I'm going to want to be a confident person. Now, if he shows me ways that I can be confident in myself, then that would be a better outcome. So it takes a long time to try to find that happy place in your life. But once you do find it, you know that you don't need anybody to make you happy anymore. You can make yourself happy, and you can have someone join you in sharing that happiness together. Instead of saying, this person makes me happy, you'll say, I'm happy with this person or without this person. So, because you can be with someone 20 years with like 4 kids, 2 cars, and a mortgage, and still not have a full love tank from that person or filling their love tank. You need words of affirmation. You need quality time. You need physical touch. You need, gifts here and there, even if it's just a love letter. And what's that other one for me?
I can't remember at all. You're the one who goes weekly.
Yeah, we do like recognition with each other. Like, hey, you did a really good job doing this. I'm proud of you. And it's something that we do for our kids, but as an adult, we forget. We think, oh, well, that person should already be proud of me. They already know. Or that person should know I'm proud of them. And a lot of the times people really want to be heard. So, I'm learning not to interrupt him so much.
Oh, you've been doing pretty good at that.
Yeah. Because if you don't listen to somebody and what they're trying to tell you, and you dismiss a lot of their feelings, they're going to think the next person will do that to them, because they're not going to think that relationship is going to work out. So you always got to listen to your partners.
Damn.
But then again, in your situation, don't carry those feelings with you when you meet somebody new. That will definitely hinder any relationship.
So essentially a huge gray area.
No, like for example, if I mention, hey, my ex used to do things like this, why don't you do them like that?
Like trying to replace the person.
Yeah. You don't want to do that.
I think what I found was I almost looked for the opposite, I guess, of one ex to the other, because it was just like, okay, I didn't like this extreme, and I found another extreme that was almost the opposite of that, trying to so instead of like replace it, I was almost like trying to correct it, if that makes any sense, okay, this person did this, I really didn't like this, so I found someone who didn't do that to the opposite extreme.
See, and you can't categorize people either, because just because person A did,
it wasn't even intentional. It just kind of, I just noticed, I found myself like it just happened, like, oh.
Well, you thought if you would get the opposite, you'd have the opposite effect.
Yeah.
But one thing that a lot of people don't get is you have to get to know people. You have to learn them. You have to get past, you can't put the feelings up first, meaning like jumping into bed with them or, not getting to know them and just worried about their feelings and wanting to be there for them all the time and love them, because you don't give yourself a fair chance or them to be able to be honest with one another, because you're both afraid of hurting each other's feelings. Once somebody gets upset, that's the end of the relationship, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, that especially when you first meet somebody, like you talk about that bubble of perfection and everything. I was right there with you in like not necessarily like the depression, but the whole. I kept meeting like the wrong person over and over again, and eventually I was just like, forget it. I'm just gonna like not give up on finding it, just give up on like trying so hard and just focus on myself. And almost immediately,
then I asked him out.
Yeah, almost immediately the second I made that decision, she was like, "Hey, do you want to go out?" And we hung out once and pretty much moved in together. So.
Yeah, but we were friends first, and we had boundaries, and I had a lot of issues, and he knew about them, but he never like said, "Oh, you have these issues, I can't deal with them." It was more like he knew I was not going to be the perfect person, but I wasn't like a deal breaker for him. Like some people have a list, especially women. I'm sure men do too, of every single thing they want on a person. And then by the time they get to number 4, that person's too good for them, right, Sam?
Yeah. I talk about, you see those Facebook posts from particular friends. Yeah, you might have them. I'm pretty sure you have them. We've got some of the same friends where like you'll see posts and be like, and I need a good man to do X and X, and he needs to be a brain surgeon and save puppies on the weekend. And I'm like, what world do you live in, woman? What are you bringing to the table?
The men that are like, I want a party girl that dresses like a slut, but she's a homebody and cooks.
Yeah, like
really.
I was watching this one dude on Twitch one time, and he said, make a list of what you want in whatever person, guy or girl, and then he was like, all right, now go do that, go be that, like
exactly.
Walk a mile in that person's shoes.
Because it's really hard
difficult
to
it is.
be
it was
everything
that, but
you
was
want
just,
in somebody
he was saying
else.
more like if you become that, you'll probably attract that. That's what he was trying to say.
You might even be happy with yourself.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, when you wait, the right person will come to you. I mean, I didn't even know. I knew Sam, but I was engaged at the time, and the engagement was going really south. And I
had no clue about any of that.
He didn't support anything I did. Didn't like my jiu-jitsu. Pretty much was like a roommate for me. And so I just said, you know what? I can't do this. And then he was like, honestly, I didn't want to get married, and I don't want to have kids, and I don't want any of this. I'm like, oh, well, thank you. 4 years later, he didn't want any of this. But Alyssa's from a previous relationship, not that one.
Yeah.
But the point was, I confided in him, and I told him, I can't believe this happened, this and that. He's like, well, things happen. But he never once showed like jealousy or, why are you talking about that guy? And he was an honest listener. And that's something that you really got to look for. I don't know where I was going with that.
That just reminds me of a moment where I feel like I was that for someone. And then I think I didn't notice at the time, man, but I don't know. You say things one time, and I was like, man, like I told her, man, like all you do is talk about your exes, And I didn't mean to say that. Like in retrospect, I wish I kind of didn't say that, I guess is what I meant. But I didn't realize, I guess, what I was saying to the person in the moment.
Well, it does make someone feel uncomfortable after a while. I mean, you can only mention...
No, but at the same time, like, people are going through what they're going through, and by telling them that, you're kind of just saying, like, it's kind of like inadvertently, like, hey, I'm not on your side no more, Something, even though that's not the goal of that, but that's what you're kind of telling them,
Yeah, it's like dismissive conversations.
And even if it's not what you meant, in a lot of cases, even you could phrase it a million different ways, and that's what the person's going to hear.
Still be interpreted as,
And words can push a lot in a relationship.
Well, that's she goes to a therapist every Monday to help her with a lot of these things that, and lady brought me in, and what's crazy is she'll give Mandy assignments and things like that, like these stories that she'll tell me 10,000 times. I'll be like, you know what, why don't you write them down? And, she'll be like, well, I can't do it for X or can't do it for Y. And then, the therapist will tell her the same thing, and it's frustrating me because.
But the therapist said that we are not the only couple that's like that. That every single couple that she's talked to, they always say, "Well, I told you the same exact thing, and you didn't listen to me." But she said,
I got friends who told me the same thing
between a therapist and a client, not between two people. There's too much emotion to where I'm already reading into what he's saying and thinking of my next defense for the conversation before he's even done.
Damn, I've done that too.
Yeah, and I'm dealing with that with a family member right now who's like, I've set my boundaries of like what's acceptable and everything like that, and he wants to keep pushing it and keep pushing it and keep pushing it, and I'm just like, okay, man, you're clearly not getting it. This is my boundary. This is what has to happen.
And boundaries are really good in relationships.
Yeah, and you don't feel better after doing it, but you do feel better. It's
they set boundaries in the bedroom all the time, like don't put your finger there,
what
stuff like that. But in real life they won't say, hey, I kind of feel uncomfortable when you talk about any past relationships you've been in. I don't know if you know about this, but, you know, it does make me kind of think that you're still thinking about that person or you might be interested in them later. And they might not even know you feel that way. But you should tell them because it's part of the relationship and being honest. They might say, you know what? I didn't know you felt that way. I'll stop talking about that. You know, I'll work on that. Let me know if I bring it up again. And it's a communication in a relationship, even in a friendship, is important because you could say the wrong thing to a friend. And if they don't tell you what you said was offensive, you might do it again. And 10 years go by and they blow up on you and be like, remember what you said to me 10 years ago?
I had some of that happen recent too. like where I was like, man, had I known, I wouldn't have kept doing it, you know? But
yeah. And that's I know where you're coming from, where you're saying that in a lot of these cases, you know, you've got like depression, this one, and then the second where I've been there. I know where you're talking about. Like some days that's where you realize like habits are sticking to your habits is like the key thing for me is
routines are good.
Yeah. And I have a challenge with that, like every day sticking to that same routine to where we're trying to get her to do that same stuff. And
I told her she could have some ice cream.
Oh, okay, cool.
So if you see her digging in the freezer, you're like, what are you doing in there?
Because she wasn't bouncing off the walls enough before.
Just half a pint. Half a pint. Yeah. Well, she asked for a half gallon.
Yeah.
I was like, girl, I don't even get a half gallon. I'm pregnant.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I can eat me some Rocky Road.
Yeah, I might have to go to Amy's Ice Cream after this.
Yeah?
To pick up. I went last night. I love Amy's Ice Cream. You might know that.
They got gelato right here down the road.
I know, but I mean, I only have milkshakes, and Amy's has diversity in flavors in that they change it every day. Like they have the normal standard at the top, but the bottom flavors change every single day.
You got to eat that over there. Don't eat on my couch.
Sorry. I know she ain't trying to tell you that's healthy. By saying it has 6 grams of protein in it.
You know what? The only thing I like about that is the 1905 vanilla bean tastes better than the regular one.
I have no idea.
It's got real vanilla bean. You know how much vanilla beans cost?
No, I don't.
God, it's like $7 for one long one.
All right, now we're going to get into the commodities podcast.
Let's do it.
We're going to bet on coffee beans over here.
Hey, let me hit you with the next question.
Okay.
I like these live questions. It's just better than like, what's your favorite color?
Oh yeah, no, it ain't like that. I don't ask silly life questions like that.
So
that was only question 1.
I like iridescent. No.
Yeah. Now, what do you believe that people think you're crazy for believing? I like that she laughed.
Gosh.
I could answer that one for you.
I believe.
Me too.
I don't know. People think I'm crazy because I don't know. I guess you can say I do have a strong belief that one day aliens will come and will probably help us to adapt to living, in harmony with one another.
She's got way more faith than me.
No, I mean, if they're more intelligent than us, they can probably help us because they know that we have a sense of intelligence as well. We're not like the animals. I'm pretty sure that they'll know the difference. And they're probably waiting for us to evolve to that level to where we do accept extraterrestrials. Because we don't even accept people that try to come in from other countries. We're like, you're from here. You don't speak my language. Imagine someone who's not even from our planet.
Yeah.
Who can't even communicate with us. Who doesn't even look like us.
That immigration line is going to be crazy.
Well, I mean, they might be able to help us because, we have a big issue with a lot of things nowadays, like hunger and abuse and just a lot of things in the world that need help. And, it'd be nice to have someone come from another world that could help us do that.
So like a whole new religion.
It wouldn't even be
Alienism.
A religion. It would. I mean, I'm sure people would make it a religion.
Yeah.
Pope Suclaros.
But there would be those really smart military guys who actually sit down with these creatures and try to like settle shit and try to be like, hey, so how do you do stuff on your place?
And see, that's the faith where I think she's crazy because I know these military types would be like, how do we make this into a ray gun?
Yeah, that's another downfall is I know that Americans will probably be more of a, how can we get your technology to where nobody else can have it?
Yeah.
You'll help us, right? But you won't help anybody else.
Yeah.
Or another country will try to do that too.
Internet. I love this. One of my big gripes. Like, because we always want to be number one in everything, but we seem to love sucking at internet. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the world.
Oh,
not enough bandwidth.
Man.
Oh, no. I got plenty of bandwidth.
Oh,
no. I mean, like at my job, there was not enough bandwidth for
No, we
IT
saw,
and accounting.
Look, man, Korea's killing us. China's killing us. Japan's killing us. And yet, like, I mean, I could be wrong, but I swear we keep moving more and more into a technology world. You just talked about automation. Yeah. Yet we don't seem to care about internet.
No.
And we kind of need that to do it.
I know. Just saying.
Yeah.
On top of that,
I mean, I complain because I'm, from the streamer perspective, like, but at the same time, it's like, it also matters for not streamers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was into the interactive teller machines when I worked at the bank, and now they're setting up actual places, like financial places, to where you can go use them, and it's a person, you just go talk to the computer. And it's like, what if the internet connection isn't that good? How are they going to know what numbers I said?
Yeah.
Or how are they going to help me with my account? Because you're pretty much talking to someone who's in a remote location, who's, talking to you to do your transaction. And so the money's being dispensed like an ATM would, but it's somebody actually knowing how much you're getting.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, you got to trust that it's going to help you.
I don't know. Things that mine's pretty simple. I mean, I guess things that I'm crazy for doing is
that you're perceived crazy, not that you think you're crazy for doing.
He's like, I also think I'm crazy.
Right. Yeah, that people think you're crazy for believing.
I tend to let things believing. Oh man.
It's not crazy, but he thinks that history is going to repeat itself.
Oh no, I know I'm watching history.
Like he thinks we're going to go into a civil war.
No,
or that we're already in one.
Hey, woman. Let me answer my own questions here.
I answer questions for my husband.
No, like as well, I am married. I mean, that's why
it counts for married.
There we go.
That's why I never got into the Green Lantern. Show me a ring that actually gives a man some power.
And he wears it on his necklace.
No, I'm joking. I'm a huge Green Lantern fan.
So yeah, you wear it on because I feel like
he doesn't want to get his fingers stuck.
Even though like anybody who knows me knows girls played a big role in my mindset this whole year, and like some people say that's probably what ruined my Austin experience because I haven't enjoyed it because I spent a lot more time on other people than me, but.
He likes the ladies.
It's been hard for me to ever imagine the idea of being married, but I'm like. One of the things is I don't think I could ever wear the ring. Like I don't wear nothing. Look, see right? No.
Well, it goes on your other hand.
Yeah. Whatever. See, that's how familiar I am with it.
He's like, I don't even know what hand it goes
on. But I'm like, if that
mine
counts,
doesn't even fit.
Does that count?
Yeah.
Like, or is that the reason?
I actually feel better with him wearing it like that because I know he's less likely to lose it. Because it actually fits him really loose on his finger. He had a broken knuckle and he put some CBD oil on it, and the swelling went down, stayed down. But so then the ring slips off.
Yeah, because she got it sized for when it was still like swole up and broken. I expected it to be that way forever.
And it's Damascus steel, so you can't resize it.
I'm gonna cut this out. This will be a CBD ad in the middle.
Oh, dude, I am so shocked at just the way that these CBD shops have been popping up left and right.
Everywhere, dude.
One of our sponsors on the Spurs broadcast is a CBD.
Hey, CBD people watching this, you want to sponsor me? Hit a brother up.
It's good for pain
just
relief.
Watching how
it's good if you give me money and I'll talk about your product. Anyway, continue.
No, and watching how they're
CBD
popping
sponsors.
up left and right in the style of these retail spaces, like they're preparing here in Texas for when it changes. Yeah, they look set up just like Colorado dispensaries, just like California dispensaries.
They got the green cross above them.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, they're preparing to be ready. They're anticipating the legalization coming.
They'll make so much money too.
And I think that's pretty awesome. Like another plug for that stuff is, my dad's in his upper ages and he has high blood pressure, gout, and a few other things. And he was on an array of different medications, and CBD's been working for him to where they took him off the blood pressure and gout medication. So
CBD works for Sam too. He gets backache, so we use the lotion. He takes the gummies sometimes. He drinks the the teas,
I like the
and
teas
stuff, and it relaxes
those are the
him.
best for me. But
so it's a good relaxer.
Yeah, I'm really down with that whole. I'm not one of those people who thinks like, oh my God, weed'll cure the world.
Yeah.
I think it's got a lot of benefits and everything. Like I don't believe that it straight up cures cancer. If
I've
you rub
seen
it
though, like treat a lot of epileptic seizures and stuff.
Got a buddy who's an epileptic that he only has.
And I think it'd be good for the kids because there's so many medications that cause so many side effects.
Yeah.
And the children are having like all these problems with their stomach and digestive systems, and the CBD stuff, or THC, when they give it to them, it really improves their epileptic seizures and stuff like that instantly.
I feel like we've gone down another rabbit hole again. One life question leads to a 45-minute conversation.
Which is cool. But
I don't know. I guess you could say he might be crazy because you think that.
Oh, well, you did mention
Texas will legalize.
Yeah.
Wait, one day.
I believe
that'll happen one day. I just don't know when that will.
I believe
like
that
10
once
years.
these rich old politicians realize how much money it's going to be.
To San Antonio. I had a job here for 3 days that I left. That maybe I just couldn't handle it. But it was a startup doing content creation, which was like a dream of mine to do that. Because I was like, I make a bunch of stuff, but I was like, it'd be cool to get paid to make a bunch of stuff. But it ended up feeling very soul sucking. But it was a CBD marketing agency. So
marketing,
very nice.
If you work in that industry, it can be either highly rewarding or it can be highly soul sucking.
I think it could be highly rewarding. I think just content creation. I think I realized what that thing taught me, it was the final straw. And I'm still learning it now. Every now and then I'll do a freelance gig for somebody, but I think like at least for videos, I don't think I want to do videos for people. I think I just want to do it for me.
Yeah.
Like audio, I know audio so well. Like when we're talking off mic, like I think I could do that as a job for other people.
Yeah.
But I know it so well that I'm probably not gonna really be learning anything from them. So it's like it's easy for me to do it. But the video, I end up learning stuff for them, and I'm like, I don't even like video like that for me. Otherwise, I would have known what I'm learning.
Right,
video,
yeah.
Right?
And that's we were getting back into the college and the soul sucking and stuff. That's why I said like I don't think I should have gone to college. Like I knew what I wanted to do. I should have gotten. Looking back, I should have gotten certifications and things like that rather than spending time going to school for something that I eventually didn't want to do. And I got lucky enough to where like my business took off to where like I'm paying off loans and stuff like that, taxes and all of that jazz.
You gotta live taxes on small businesses.
Oh man, yeah. You want to talk about?
They'll be telling you at the end of the year, pay me all this or I'm gonna levy your account. What?
Yeah.
I'm making payments. I have arrangements.
I've been doing it all, but it's been owning a small business is tough. So. Looking back on it and how like Tomas had to get the record label started, I don't envy all of that work. That I'm starting to see all of that stuff that I had to do and put into it, and I'm like, oh, this is all the same stuff that he had to do and put into it. That is ridiculous.
That's
what other life questions do you have?
If you were rich, how would you live your life?
I was rich. I am rich now. Rich and live. No, if I was rich, how would I live my life?
Exactly the same, less debt.
I'd probably still budget, because you have to budget. It's good to know, but if I had extra money, I'd probably do a lot of banking stuff that I used to, a lot of CDs, investments, IRAs, stuff like that. Probably work the stock market a little bit because, when you have money, you have the potential to make more money with that. And that's something that a lot of my members didn't know. Like they would have $100,000 just sitting in their savings account earning 0.25%.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you know there's a place next door that, you can put your money into a certificate or a portfolio, have someone else manage it for you and actually double your value. And they would be like, oh, well, I don't want to risk it and this and that. I'm like, well, there's guaranteed ones, and then there's ones that are not. There's ones that are insured. There's ones that are not. Ones that have aggressive growth. But when you learn more about that stuff and you have the actual money to invest in it, you can make a whole lot more money for yourself and for your kids. And you can even put money away for them for specific things like, what is it, a 459?
I have no idea. Yeah, you do all that stuff.
A 459 is a education.
I feel like I should
fund.
give you my finance degree.
And then I took
She's
finance.
good with everybody else's money.
Not mine, not my own. But if I was rich, that'd be definitely something I would do, and probably pick one charity, probably like a battered women's shelter or something. I've stayed there before, and they really need clothes and stuff for the ladies. So you'd want to give your money back as well. Good tax write-off.
How about you? What would you do if you were endless finances?
Honestly, I probably have no
do
home.
Manny does.
I'd just be doing this probably like around the world.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like I would just probably live in Airbnbs, and I would probably like, I know people around the world, so I'd probably literally go do this face to face. So like, oh, you're in. I got like yoga friends who are just, they be in like random countries doing
You
yoga
need to
retreats.
teach us some yoga.
What happened?
You need to teach us some yoga.
I can. I'm not certified for none of that. But
We got a buddy who is
good for
now
jiu-jitsu.
a master yoga instructor or something. He just got it. It's not his normal job or anything, but
okay, don't jump.
He actually does play-by-play announcing for Texas State. But yeah, like while he was waiting in between jobs, like he was just like, I want to go become a master yogi or whatever.
Who is it again?
Carl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I'll have to get you set up with him. He does podcasting mostly for sports and
stuff. Do you
stuff,
do hot yoga?
I have not tried that. I had somebody on here who
painful.
swears by it. She does it like every morning.
God, my friend told me that it's amazing, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
she
you
said the same thing.
stand in a room that's 110 degrees and bend in weird ways.
Yeah,
How is that fun?
At it.
I do that every summer.
What do you
I don't stand in a room, but if you go outside, you want to come back and take a shower. You can bake some cookies in your...
I'll definitely try it at some point. I don't know when. It's the Bikram yoga, I believe it's called.
Hot yoga.
Yeah, there's a few places along I-10 that have that, and I drive by.
Try doing hot yoga after training.
No, thank you. Oh, that looks horrible.
After 6 rounds of jiu-jitsu, be like, I'm gonna go sweat some more.
No.
Yeah, they probably should be done on different days.
I'm cutting weight. No.
What about you?
I'd probably live pretty much the same way because I just wouldn't, like I said, wouldn't have a whole lot of debt. I just wouldn't stop working because I feel like when I see people retire, those people who retire and don't do anything with their free time, they don't do so well. So, and I've read way too many horror stories about lottery winners who,
I agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, for where you were asking it at me, like all of this would just go like ninefold, like because I don't go as hard just because I battle my mind like, oh, like should I even be doing stuff like this? I should probably like do more real jobs or make money or like focus on all that reality stuff that I tend to run away from because I'm an
Don't
artist.
get caught in thinking traps.
I know, but I tend to do that. But like I would do crazy stuff like a lot, and it's gonna happen. But a lot of people have heard me do like I'm gonna release a song a week. Like I would do that stuff, like that would be guaranteed.
Man.
Cool.
And then I'd probably mass market that like with another friend who I know is very good at doing his own businesses, and we'd probably like start a new brand and all kinds of. I just take all this. So I believe the artist they don't run out of the bucket. Their bucket list is endless. So I'm like, from a work perspective, like what you were saying, like people die when they don't have work. I'm not worried about that. I'm like the gift and the curse. I'm an artist. There's always work,
Yeah.
But you gotta keep goals in life.
Yeah.
I just definitely,
Even till you
I feel
die,
like losing,
always have a goal.
Losing my value or feeling like I'm losing my value is like every day I leave, she's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to work. One day you're going to go to work every day.
She's always like, does he work today? What time does he go in? I'm like,
I work
oh my God,
every
he's
day,
off on
damn it.
Sundays.
No, but I mean, between, working a 9 to 5, 7:30 to 4:15 job.
He gets there early.
Yeah, I show up early because they let me out early to do it. I'm really lucky to have found a place that I'm learning new stuff all day long. Like I knew all this stuff about audio, like so much to the point to where I'm like, people will come. I feel like an imposter sometimes when I'm at work because all of these kids who are like big, all of these kids who are big into video and everything, they seem to know a whole lot more than me, and I feel worthless. And then all of a sudden they'll come up to me with like, an audio question and I will know exactly what the answer is, and then all of a sudden I'll feel great for like 4 days about that one question.
Smarty pants.
But what's even better is like learning all of this different stuff and realizing that like you can take these experiences and like have something of value that like a big name company actually does want. And you're like, okay, cool. I came from a place where, okay, I did this one thing and that's all I'm valuable for. And that's how I got into the EDM shows and everything. It was the first time they laid me off. Mr. Brown took me up to a show up in Austin. I was looking at, they're only playing with 4 channels. I've played with more than 4 channels before. All right, I can do this. And then it just down a rabbit hole of learning everything about DJ equipment to the point now to where like I know just about every controller that's out there.
He'd
now.
probably update all his gear if he had more money.
Oh, I would.
If you were
I would
rich.
definitely do that. I would.
He probably
always
have like one
gear.
of those cool setups where you are in a virtual game, you know, where it's like all around you in a cylinder
Oh,
or a circle, you know,
Yeah.
those extreme gamers
I used to help them
where they
get,
have the chair
like,
that leans back like that, you know?
I used to
Really get into
help
it.
a lot of them get all of their music software running because when you're bootlegging stuff, it doesn't always run the way that it should.
Right.
So I think a whole lot of doing that for you guys is why I'm at where I'm at now.
What other questions are there?
What is your goal in life?
Oh gosh, my goal is to keep having goals. Because when my therapist says, don't feel bad about not having goals. I've talked to people that didn't think they were even going to make it to this time in their life. And I'm like, oh, wow. So you could get to a point in your life where you don't even think you're going to make it past a certain age. So if you stop setting goals for yourself and you stop going forward, you get into this comfort of being so laxed and in park that, it'll depress you. And you won't even know it. You'll think, oh, I'm just comfortable. But if you constantly have a goal in life, even if it's just like, I'm going to do this on Friday. And Friday comes on, you're like, I got it done. You have that little bitty accomplishment. So, but one of my main goals in life is to pretty much raise my kids to be the best that they can be and not have kids that are like in jail, and I learned a lot from my parents on how not to be a parent, because they were not good parents. So when I self-taught myself, I was a better parent than they were. And that's really tough because you kind of rely on how you were raised to raise your kids. So one of my main goals is to have my kids be better than I was and to know that, you don't have to kind of push yourself down to make somebody happy. And I feel like a lot of people do that nowadays. They'll put their own happiness aside to make somebody else happy. So that's one of my goals. Sam?
Pretty simple. Figure out this whole dadding thing.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. He's like, if I have to breastfeed, I'll make a nipple.
It's the most
Oh, he gets to do that too? Is that how
It's
this
going to
works?
be like Meet the Fockers with a big tit.
Make my own tit.
Yeah, I told him that's probably going to be something that he's going to have to adjust to because with the breastfeeding, they are very dependent on the mom. So there's going to be a lot of times when he's hungry, he's going to want to feed him. But the baby will be like, fuck you, I want titty.
Hey, yeah.
But I had Alyssa transition to both. So he should do the same.
But yeah, the whole dad thing, like I thought, when it happens, I'll be ready and I'll understand it and everything. And it's not like it was unplanned or anything. It's just when she actually told me, she was like, "Are you outside?" and everything. And I was standing up outside.
We planned the hell out of it. We even announced it at a dinner.
I damn near collapsed. I'm still kind of flabbergasted.
I probably should have told him to sit down.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like still real yet. I mean, I can feel him kick. I can feel all that jazz.
I think I'm pretty pregnant.
Yeah. It's just, it's still that reality hasn't still kind of set in. And every once in a while, it'll start creeping into where, like, can you do all this
He
stuff?
rearranges my
supply all
organs
this
daily. It's
jazz?
reality for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for you. For me, I'm sitting here, is my bank account big enough?
See, and I think that
because beforehand I was like, I could live on ramen.
Women are always like, oh, I'm always, the baby's in here and worried about the baby. The baby is also in the daddy's mind all the time. So I think that's one thing. You see a picture of a woman with the baby in her uterus, but you never see a picture of a man with the baby like in his head, because that's what he's really thinking about all the time, is how can I take care of her and the baby and myself at the same time. Because like I told him, the first 6 to 8 weeks are the hardest. I'm still going to be, trying to be put back together. My body's still going to be trying to adjust to the hormone levels and, go through the transition of the breastfeeding, the milk. And, I told him it was really tough for me with my daughter because I did not have the support that I needed from her dad. So that's another thing. You can't carry that with you to the next relationship. I tried doing that, and it really kind of affected how we were talking to each other. So now I have to block that out and say, it's a different time, different baby, different relationship. So, and that gave him a chance to not be all like, everything I do, she's going to compare it. Because that's not fair. I wouldn't want him to be comparing me.
Yeah, and she's pretty important in this whole matter. So
I think making sure that a big role in this.
Yeah, making sure that she's happy keeps me happy.
I have an advantage because I've done this before.
But as far as goals go, I don't think I ever want to stop like making at least noises. Like I've always sucked at putting together like full songs, but I love making noises. I can make noises all day. I've still got patches that are over 10 years old, and I'll still play with them all the time. I'll make new patches, especially now because I own Massive. I'm renting to own Serum. That's what I wanted to ask you about too. Was like, how do you feel about like VSTs being rent to own?
That's good. Everybody can get it.
Yeah, and like I think that gives everybody the access to, because that's why they were pirating them all before.
Yeah,
I mean, you were still hearing songs from people who had probably learned on pirated software. So at least now, $9 a month. But we started adding up our subscriptions, and we were like, oh
yeah, I got like this Clarity app, and it shows you, it compiles all your subscriptions. I was like, we got like $50, $70 in subscriptions.
Damn.
The hell are we watching? It's like Hulu, Disney, Netflix.
Always making music or something creative. I've always made stuff on a computer. Growing up, I was always into art and everything, and then I learned you can make art on computers, and then from then on, it was like from the age of like 9 or 10, it was just all computers. So from like 3D modeling to streaming to putting together graphics or something, I always want to be doing something that's like angled that way. But based on the success of all this audio stuff, I got a feeling I'll always be doing something audio related.
So those are your goals?
Yeah, to always make sure I'm happy in what I'm doing, and
what are your goals?
Be there.
Man, y'all gonna keep flipping this stuff. We ain't never gonna end it.
It's got a round table here.
Damn, it's funny. That was my first ever like life quest. That was the original quest. I used to just ask everybody that because I didn't have any goals, but this is many years ago. So I'm trying to figure that out right now. As like this is like kind of the first year, like I see myself for maybe who I was that I just couldn't see myself. I have a song. It's not out yet. I could give it to you. It's called The Mirror. So it's like kind of. It's about that. Like I just, oh crap, like this is who I am. I made my life kind of like just me as an artist, and I sometimes wonder like if that too, just like the girls, maybe was that also a distraction, And a part of me, because I have a bunch of artistic goals, but like you said, you identify with that stuff.
Yeah.
And a part of me is like, I wonder if that's even me or if that's just me clinging to a past version of myself. So. So, like, I have a bunch of goals, but I also, like, do I even want to do them? Like, is that even who I am right now in the moment? Because I'd like to release a song a week. But unlike a lot of my friends, like, they just stick to one thing. So it's like a lot of them have gotten so much better in music. But I've done, like, over 200 podcasts. I've done over 200 concert filmings, So if you, like, add up everything I've done, then I was also keeping busy. But it's just I wasn't keeping busy in one thing. So I've been a jack of all trades.
So you've been achieving goals that you didn't make.
I did make them, but like I think I just keep on making goals instead of like stop.
No, but like think about your accomplishments as goals.
Yeah.
When
Things
have
that
you
you
been your
have,
happiest?
things that made you happy that you didn't even plan on doing. Like, I didn't think I was going to be pregnant this year. Well, I kind of knew.
If you want something like this, is real simple because this is simple right now. Like I didn't know you were gonna be on this podcast, but I feel like some of the stuff that has gone down, I was like, this is badass. You know?
Oh, you like
Because
it?
I feel like I feel like,
Welcome to my life.
Yeah,
I feel
you
like
found
I
something
didn't
for me to
expect
talk
this, but
about.
it was badass.
yeah. So like I think relationships has not been something that has been a big part of my life. So like anytime I learn, I have like a couple on, I always find that interesting. Because I can like learn about this life that I don't want to say I may never live, but so far I haven't really lived it. You know what I mean?
Well, just know that she's preparing herself for you just as you're preparing yourself, and that she probably has the same exact emotions that you do, and maybe even more because females are very emotional. And it's going to be, she's going to feel the same for you as you do for her, but you can't expect everything out of her because you don't want her to expect everything out of you. So I think it's the expectations we set on our partners that kind of affect the relationships, because like you said, I want, certain things in a woman and she's going to want certain things in me. But, at the end of the day, you kind of have to accept people for what they already have. Like she might have an issue with, something that you do that you've been doing forever, or you might have an issue with something that she's doing. But when you adapt to one another and try to understand before you get upset, it's kind of like the ABC thing that they teach us. The action, how it made you feel, and then the logical way you should probably feel about it. Like somebody cuts you off in traffic. You're pissed. You want to go follow them, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Instead of saying, you know what? I have a horrible blind spot, and sometimes I cut people off. Or what if it was an emergency and they just really need to get off the exit?
Yeah, you don't know what the other person's going through.
So you've de-escalated your emotions. It's like that in relationships. Sometimes you feel so much for someone, you want to lose your shit with them, but then you gotta like sit back and think, okay, is it rational?
Nah.
So in relationships, I guess in your case, the only advice I'd really have, if that's okay, is just give yourself some time. And if you find someone you really like, be friends with them first.
But then I learned that too.
Because
they'll actually like you a lot more because they'll think you're after a good, meaningful friendship relationship versus just wanting them for, thinking that there's something else.
Yeah, I feel like the last person I think probably taught me more than most things, and that was one of the things. Like, man, like if I could go back, I would probably just tell. Because I found this old video of her, and before we were like close to each other, I was like, man, I'd probably just tell myself, just be her friend, Because
what if it doesn't work out? Then at least you still know that person. You still have friendship.
But here, I'll hit you with 2 quickie goals. I think I mentioned it before. I would like to get that same confidence I had around that time, but just for me. And the second one is I have a bunch of friends doing like online businesses, like just selling stuff. And I was like, I would like to get into this too. And I have all the stuff, all the resources there. I just need to stop being scared and maybe build up a little bit of capital. But I feel like there's still like this mental thing, like that doesn't maybe believe I can do it, even though I can
selling?
do it. I don't
merch
know
for
yet.
the podcast, right?
What?
Merch for the podcast?
I guess that's one thing, but I'm talking about like real stuff, like just having your own, like when you see people have Shopify's and stuff like that, or
there's Etsy.
Yeah, it's something along those lines. I'm purposely being I can tell you more off the mic. But
Some of these ladies bank on just making baby shower flyers.
Yeah. There's a lot. I
think I dropped like $25 on
now
just
more
those
than ever
printouts.
because of technology. There's a lot of people doing crazy shit for a living.
You can sell downloads like crazy.
Yeah,
people will buy them.
Well, there's a lot of small business opportunity, especially just for a lot of people nowadays who don't want to work for somebody else, who want to work
Online's
for themselves.
the way to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities out there that didn't used to be there.
I even have a friend who does dog sitting. She gets paid to go hang out with your pets and feed them. I'm like, really? You just gonna sit there and pet the dog? She's like, yeah, you want to come with me? Sure.
I know. I'll be wanting to do that too. Like not fun.
You
If I
would
really
love
want.
it. Some of the dogs are so loving. I'm like, I want to take you
Are
home.
they using an app or are they doing
She's private.
Okay.
But she uses the Rover and she uses the WAG.
Yeah.
But yeah, they call you. And even a lot of my friends are making money doing grocery shopping for people.
Oh yeah, that's the new hotness.
And delivering food and stuff like DoorDash. And they're banking. They're like, people pay money just for you to drop shit off at their door. I'm like, yeah, nobody wants to go anywhere. We even have beds that sit up for us. Get this bed.
Ever since I started doing Uber, like in Austin, sometimes I think like everybody on here is an Uber driver.
I needed an Uber driver to go down the road. He had the car.
Yeah.
And
she's like, I can walk. I was like,
it'll be here in like 2 minutes. Okay. I have some time to walk the dog. Oh my God, they were here in like 20 seconds. There's 5 Ubers just waiting for someone to call them.
Oh yeah, in this area too. Yeah.
And they're pretty friendly too.
Yeah.
I can talk all day.
I'll have this conversation with them sometimes.
Yeah. You should podcast. Oh, no, you can't really do that.
You have to get consent at the end of the ride. I don't feel like that's too much trouble. I'm like, look, I'll just do a real one. But normally, I need a way to tell everyone and who comes in the car to do one, because I swear, 99% of the time, you got a podcast, and they want to know more about it. Yeah, because they want to follow it.
How awesome would it be? Like, and you're on it now if you want to.
Boom.
Let's talk about psychology.
Maybe one day.
Just sign the release at the end of the ride. You know, just like right here.
Right.
What are 3 things you're thankful for in life?
Oh, I am thankful for. God, I'm thankful for more than 3 things.
That's your question. You want to
keep it brief, yo.
Okay, if I had to name just 3 things that I'm really thankful for, it would have to be, I guess, my religion. Because in my religion, even though you're going through hard times, you still have to have faith that things will get better.
Which one is it?
God, I'm Baptist. I was baptized Baptist.
You can't list like my religion and then ask someone else what's my religion. I'm so grateful for this. What am I grateful for?
We have an honest relationship.
She's had a lot of experience with different forms of Christianity.
It's Christianity, but it's Jesus. Okay. It's just a different form. It's like I was baptized Baptist. I was raised Catholic.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm kind of a non-denominational person where I have friends that I'll pray with them even though they're praying to a totally different God. Like I'll just be like, we're friends. We'll pray together. I'll pray to mine. You pray to yours. But I'm very accepting of religion. A lot of my friends, we uplift each other with it. And my faith got me to where I am now. Like, because I came from, a very abusive background as a child and as an adult, to where you kind of lose your faith in people. But if you stay strong in it and you continue to pray, it doesn't go away. Because you realize if you lose faith in people, you're losing it in yourself as well. Because you're losing faith either way. And I don't know, it's brought me to...
We'll replay that later.
Yeah, it's brought me to know that just because something is so tiny at first, like a mustard seed, you have to have faith that it'll grow and it just takes time and patience. And I'm at a point in my life where I can finally say I'm comfortable, I'm happy, I'm not afraid, I feel safe. And, I'm not worried about any type of violence happening or, I'm just able to finally set goals and smash them.
Smash them.
What about the third thing?
The second thing is... Oh, God, I'm so thankful that I live... I guess I live in this area. Because I grew up in a really bad side of town. So I'm super thankful that I finally live in an area where I don't worry about shootings. I don't worry about, like, if I go out, to a store or something... there's going to be like crazy people at the grocery store, because there's bad sides of town. So I'm thankful that I'm finally I'm in a situation in my life where have financial stability and, family stability. Because those are really important to have. The third thing, I'm happy for is my health. That's one thing I'm really happy for because my health was pretty bad about 2 years ago. I had a major, prescription addiction, alcohol addiction, and it was damaging me physically, emotionally, mentally. And it was damaging my family too.
Wow.
So I'm thankful that I finally got help for that.
Oh,
Sam?
Well, all right.
Can you top that?
No. That's why I'm like,
You're not on the podcast
why
anymore.
do I constantly have to be the runner-up on this? No, I'm really happy that I'm thankful for sure that I've in a position in my life where I do feel useful. Especially when I was getting ready to leave the radio station. I had been planning on leaving for like a number of years, but I had the guts to like get out there because I didn't know anything else. I had been there since I was a kid. It was my first job. And I was like, well, will I be needed for anything else? So to be needed or to like have value is super awesome because that fear of not having that tells me like, hey, not knowing what you want to do or not having a path is kind of a lost pathway to go down. So I'm happy for that, and I'm happy that my family is for the most part together, and I'm really.
Well, we have no choice right now.
Yeah, we're kind of all together all the time.
Yeah, he's pretty much stuck in there for 3 months more.
I guess, geez. It feels I feel thankful that I'm able to get up and do things that I like in the morning and find a meaningful path and share that with my family and be able to support them while not going to. I mean, there's some parts of my job that I could definitely do without, but getting up every day and getting able to tinker with stuff or figure out how to break shit is a whole lot of fun. Or, I was telling you off the camera that, dealing with end users can be a little bit annoying when, what you need to do to fix their issue, but they don't want to listen to you. But when I do get to fix somebody's issue at the end of that, it's really relieving to be like, oh, hey, that production or that podcast can now go on time. And, that was the feeling that got me into this in the first place was like, I remember watching my dad. He remembers being called away from important things in my life. I remember watching him be so important that other people needed him that badly. And I feel like I've got that in my life at this point, and I'm really thankful for that. So yeah, that's me.
Good.
But we won't bounce that back at you because we've done that like 4 times.
All right. No, it's fine.
No?
Yeah. We can do the next question.
Where you see yourself in 3 years?
In 3 years?
Yeah.
Hopefully in a bigger apartment, mostly.
Oh my God, yes, we're getting a 2-bedroom.
Physically, we'll be in the.
We've taken and that was going to be one of my thankful for.
A very busy 3-year-old
was living in San Antonio. I'm thankful to live here.
Oof.
And
there's not been many an artist who says that's been a big comment.
I love San Antonio.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole. Let's keep answering.
Every corner.
Yeah, let's keep
answering. I love San Antonio because 85 families a day move in here tells me that other people love it too.
It still feels like a small town.
And yeah.
For now, yeah.
And so I've had the option or the opportunity to travel a lot, and I've seen a lot of big cities from like New York City. They've all got like things that are attractive about them, but at the end of the day, this is my home, and I love this place.
I don't like the weather
in
Texas. Fuck the weather. I take your jacket off, put it on, take it off.
But yeah, I love San Antonio, and I probably won't ever leave here, but I will definitely. I want to definitely keep making music and keep expanding whatever multimedia stuff that we're doing in some way, shape, or form, whether it's like just being creative is fun. So I definitely still want to have that in my life. And I'm not ready for that to be done. But I'm starting to see like, hey, there's only so many hours in the day, and when you're changing diapers and chasing a 10-year-old, yeah, like you no longer have time, but you do have moments.
No, it's funny. I feel like time moves slower for me now, but at the same time, I could just see the whole year like that in a moment. But definitely, I felt probably more this year than I ever felt before. You know, like
it was a long year, but it was worth it.
I enjoyed it.
It's almost over.
It is.
So in 3 years, where am I going to be? I'll be with a 3-year-old. 3-year-old and probably crying because in 2 years from then, he's going to be in school and I'll be alone again. That was the one thing that was hard for me is when my daughter went to school. And I was like, I don't have friends now.
You already got the whole thing planned, huh?
It goes by faster than you think. She's already 10.
I know.
I blinked and she's 10 now.
And stop blinking.
Like my eyes get dry. You know?
Hey, my sacrifice. What do you want?
I suck at staring contest. I used to get mad at her. I'm like, what did I tell you about growing up? Stop it. To tell you again.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know. In 3 years, I think we might have one more. Like we haven't had this one yet, but I have a feeling that he's going to want another one. He really likes me pregnant. Like my moods are better. I'm not all crazy like most pregnant ladies. You okay over there? Yeah. Rig.
Dog.
Buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Oh, this is our dog.
We've got this guy here. And.
Rig, come. Go.
Come on.
Go on, Rig. That's our dog.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm here. Look at my butt. I'm sitting in front of you now. Yeah, he's very, I don't know.
Very doggish.
It's like, show me attention.
I get it.
I need attention. In 3 years, we might have one more. I don't know. I mean, I love kids, and most of my friends have at least 3.
Oh, so you got to play keep up?
I got to keep up with my friends.
Okay.
My tax credit, I only get to claim 2, so I don't know.
Ooh.
But yeah, I mean, I'd rather have all my babies now while I'm young than wait till I'm older because it's just, I'll be 35 by then. So yeah, probably one more after this one and then I'll be done.
What is the perfect day?
The perfect day? Oh God, a day without any drama. You know, I mean, drama is there sometimes to help you kind of find happiness because you can't have joy without sadness and stuff like that.
Yin and yang, yeah.
You need the yin and the yang, but sometimes you can have like a really shitty morning and it ruins your whole day. Or you can have such a great day and then have like a really shitty night and you feel like your whole day is ruined. So it's that one key like drama factor. You take that out, don't have any shitty mornings, no shitty night.
It's turned into a therapy session.
I know. Well, it does. You think about it. If you wake up and you stump your toe, you're automatically like, oh, this is the kind of day it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, if you go in and say you spill your coffee all over your pants, you feel like it's going to be an awful day now. He actually did that. Called me at like 10 o'clock.
Oh, man.
Yeah, sitting there BSing by the coffee
I know you're
machine.
going to meet your friend at 12 and it's 30 degrees outside, but can you bring me a pair of pants? And then my friend, she lives down the road. She's like, oh my God, I'm getting dressed right now. Poor Sam.
I was immediately taken back to like second grade pee pants situation.
I looked at him when I got there. I was like, how much coffee were you drinking? Is that a fresh cup?
It was a whole fresh cup, yeah. I was sitting there talking, listening to one of the guys in the repair department bitch about the new coffee supplier that we have, which isn't that bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
I love this coffee.
Doesn't taste like Starbucks. And I went to go switch it hands, but instead of grabbing it, I just ripped it out of my own hand for some reason and just decided to dump it all over my pants.
If you're going to dump it down there, you must love it, right?
I love it.
And the longest 10-minute wait I've ever had.
He's like, I'm getting cold sitting here.
Yep.
Can you bring me some boxers
That's
too?
funny.
I went through the jeans. Oh.
It was a perfect day, dude.
Oh.
It's the day he met me.
Yeah, it was.
Day.
But
he couldn't stop smiling.
Other than that, I don't know. Lately, I've been into just doing nothing on day because every day has been, hey,
when I do nothing,
you've got to
no drama and nothing. This is perfect. Right?
Yeah,
every day is just us sleeping.
Like I told you with the streaming, it's
those
right
are
before
some
I
of the
started
best
the new
times,
job.
though. Like when you get to cuddle with your partner in the morning for like 2 hours and just sit there in bed and just talk.
I get it.
And then like 4 cups of coffee, and then stream, then make music, and then stream making music, and yeah, just doing all the things that I enjoy.
Yeah, a perfect day is filling each other's love tank with the love language of the other person.
Okay,
damn, that's some bars right there. The love tank with the love language of the other person.
So think about it. What is your love language? Like what?
You know, said if I knew that, I might have a girlfriend right now.
Okay, what makes you feel loved the most? If someone gave you, I'll do an example of me. If I gave you, I say I was your sister, I gave you a gift, and it was something you really liked. Would you feel like I loved you, or would you feel like, oh, that's a gift? Thanks, my sister always gives me gifts.
I mean, I might be more towards the second, maybe. Like.
Yeah. Okay, so that's not your love language.
Yeah.
What if, say I'm your mom, and I tell you, son, I'm so proud of you and the things you've been doing. Your accomplishments have, I'm really happy for you.
Yeah.
Does that make you feel loved?
This could go on some deep stuff because honestly, I don't know if.
What I mean is the words of affirmation.
Yeah. I don't know if any of it, would have any effect on me. No.
No. Okay. I have a feeling yours is physical touch. So when you're in a relationship with a girl, and let's say she does not like to be hugged, she doesn't like to hold hands, she doesn't like to kiss, she doesn't like to play footsies. Would you feel like she loved you?
Probably not. But
what if she just said she had an affection problem? Now, opposite. If you had a girl the opposite, who was always playing footsies with you, always poking at you, always playing with your hair.
There was someone. So it was like if I'm in like this year, like just like the first girl I did date. The second girl was just like a friend, and maybe I wanted too much, But that first girl, I think, we were like normal, like in that you're intimate and do all the things you do, but like I noticed like for me, like communication really wasn't her strong suit, like in terms of, I guess, verbal. And I think later on, months removed and talking to other people, I was able to realize that she probably liked me way more than I ever understood. It's just like she just didn't show it the normal way. Like she maybe couldn't say it, because I would notice she would try to force things to happen without necessarily asking, "Hey, I want you here," like, but she would do it in the most convoluted way. like that was just
She's
like maybe
afraid to ask.
Yeah, like, but she would try to make it so that I'm gonna know that she wants me there, But like
the big obvious hints.
Yeah, I remember right before we were like a thing, and instead of like asking me to go, she was like, "Hey, so I'm gonna go to Houston to visit my family. You could come along if you like." Like very.
That's kind of good though. She never demanded anything of you. It was like open ended. She wanted it to be your idea.
And it would just be like, everything like. Even after, like, fine, when we were finally done, like, she still kind of wanted to be very, like, close to me in her way. And she ended up cutting herself out of my life for a minute because of that. But, like, she never could just, like, directly ask me. Like, it was always a weird... some reason had to be invented to pull me, and I would always show up, because I still cared, But it was just...
She knew you wouldn't say no.
Yeah. Which I think is... maybe a boundary I'm starting to learn. Like maybe I need to say no.
Yeah, it's always good to say no, because You never want someone to expect you to always say yes, because when you do say no, they're going to get upset and be like, well, you always say yes.
Oh, and at that point, like, I had a lot of the blinders off, so I realized he wasn't necessarily the best person, and I would always be there, but it was something I did subconscious. I was very protective, so, like, I would be very cold to her, and it wasn't on purpose, but it was just like, last time I was, like, vulnerable to her, you were not good to me. So it's like now I would inadvertently be very closed off. And it was never anything I did actively thinking, but I just noticed that was the pattern. If she was around, I would one-word answers now. I'm not talking, I'm just kind of like, yes, no, maybe. So, like.
Well, always put a wall up, but make sure you have a door in case somebody knocks. You might want to let them in.
Yeah. Damn, we went down some shit. Huh? So we went down some shit.
Right, that's the rabbit hole for now.
He mentioned therapy, and I'm like, this is I feel like inadvertently that's why I do some of this. I can't afford therapy, but
can you tell I see a therapist?
Well, yeah, because it's been brought up several times. But I think that's good though. But I think that's good though. I think I would go too. And a lot of my friends who have gone, normally it's always the women more than the men, but like. A lot of my friends, they've cited it as being a great help to them too.
It's like school.
Yeah.
You're training your mind to not do what it's used to doing. Like say you, back to the love languages, your love language, I think, is probably not physical touch, probably quality time. If somebody sits with you in the same vicinity and just watches TV with you for an hour or two, do you feel like you spent time with them? Or if somebody's sitting at you at a dinner table one-on-one and talking to you for 2 hours.
Yeah. Look at what we're doing
and
now.
Telling you about their life and stuff. Do you feel more love from that?
Probably. And I noticed one of the things I feel guilty.
Quality time.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the things I feel guilty of, sometimes I feel like I seek people too much. But I notice that's usually what I'm seeking from them. Like that. And sometimes if we're doing like, yeah, just like talking and just that quality time.
Quality time. Yeah. So in their next relationship, which I'm pretty sure you'll be in another relationship because you like girls and you want to, have fun and stuff, and you don't want to be lonely the rest of your life. Trust me, I've met people who are like, I don't want nobody, fuck relationships. I'm just gonna use everyone and find meaningful love that way. I feel like you'll find someone that you'll probably want to be friends with. And you'll force yourself to be friends with because you'll like them so much you won't want to go there. Sometimes when you like someone so much, the respect is so immense that you don't want to upset them or cross their boundaries. Like with Sam, he has so much respect for me. Sometimes a little handsy, but it feels like that's since our first date. But what I mean is, if I tell him, hey, look, I have a problem with this, I really don't want you doing that anymore, he will consider it and he will talk to me about it and probably stop. Same for me. So it's just, where was I going with that?
I have no idea.
I derailed just now. Love languages. Yeah. So with that relationship, you'll find that you'll spend more quality time with someone if you're getting to know them rather than just sleeping with them or just, watching a movie date with them, Yeah,
no, because yeah. I mean, we can keep going, but I feel like...
You need quality time.
I do.
Did you have that in your past relationships?
So I haven't really had, like, many, like, in terms of, like, long. It's always been, like, short stints. And I'm not even talking about, like, one-night stands. It would just be things that were, like, a weeks to a month,
But the quality time, did you have that?
Probably not. But I think the younger you go, the more like lower self-esteem I have. So the more it was more like me just kind of settling because someone liked me more than I really even wanted to be there too.
Yeah, don't settle.
Yeah, I know. But that's stuff you learn, I guess, as you gain more confidence in yourself.
Yeah. Sam said he learned
you can
from
be
dating.
told, but you can't be taught.
Yeah, I didn't learn. I had to learn from my parents because they had a lot of domestic violent relationships. I was like, rule number 1, don't hit your partner.
Oh, man.
Rule number 2, don't throw things at your partner.
It doesn't go down around here.
Sounds like battle rules. This sounds like
no, my dad, I have
That's
horror
why we
stories,
go to a gym for that. We get all that out at the gym.
Yeah, that was another thing too, is like me and Sam, a lot of people think it's very strange that we grapple together. But I could choke him out. He can choke me out. I've gotten him in some weird positions that I probably almost broke my leg.
So I can practice this.
He knocked out. I'm not joking. He knocked out.
I believe you. It's funny. It's funny.
But it's cool because like, for one, at the gym, the girls that grapple with the guys, they kind of get intimidated sometimes. They get upset if they get overpowered by the guy. But with me, the guys are kind of like, oh, you're not getting upset and stuff. I'm like, I grapple with my husband all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get upset if you're grappling like a guy because you are a guy.
Yeah.
The physical.
And that's a realistic training scenario. Too.
Yeah. I'm like, do you think a guy's going to go light on you in the
parking
lot? What the hell?
Yeah. Well, it's like a lot of these women are like, I do this for self-defense. I do this for self-defense. And then I watch them go and they're like, I just want to go light. And I'm like, yeah, because that dude attacking you in the parking lot is definitely going to go light
and rolling with
too.
Guys, when you roll with a girl afterwards, you kind of beat up that girl a little bit more.
Because, now you're on you have the higher confidence, or you were trying hard to exert more energy.
They make you work for it, and they are actually going light. I have rolled with guys who go hard, and I can't even move. So I'm like, I'm not rolling with that person anymore. Because there are some guys that are they'll roll with you like you're a guy. And then there's Sam, who knows that you're a girl. But will still make you work for your moves. So that was sorry, we keep going down these rabbit holes.
No, I like that.
I think you like it.
I just don't. No, I do.
We have a couple of little rabbit holes here.
Yeah, I definitely do like it. But I'm going to hit you with the last question.
What's that?
Okay.
The last question.
No, I don't want it to be over.
I mean, it don't have to be. At the same time, I'm trying not to take your whole day off. What is the question I should have asked you but didn't?
Oh God, you should ask me what my motivations are.
What is your motivations?
My motivations are constantly coping with stress and anxiety. I think depression too, I cope with that. Like if I didn't have it, I don't think I would try as hard every day. Like I don't think I would have the motivation to be like, I can do this. But since I have that disability of anxiety and depression, I do have to try that harder. So it kind of motivates me at the same time. Like I tell myself, okay, I'm not feeling like doing any tasks. I'm not feeling up to, completing anything. I'm not interested in anything. Nothing's making me happy. Or I then tell myself, I'm going to find something that makes me happy. I'm going to look for something to do that interests me. Like, so you can use the depression and anxiety as a motivational tool to push you and say, you know what, I can cope with this. I can overcome it. And you can kind of give yourself like a pep talk of confidence. So what also motivates me is knowing that I have to care for others than myself. Because then I think about how when I was growing up, that's all I ever wanted was someone to take care of me when I was little. And I had to take care of myself. So to have that feeling of my family being so appreciative of me caring for them, really motivates me. Tim?
Well, from somebody who deals in the world of interviews on a daily basis, I know for a fact that that's not part of the job I could do. So I'm not going to tell you that you didn't ask any of the right questions because I couldn't do what you do.
I think I could probably do what you do.
I think anyone can do a podcast.
Well, I mean, an interview.
I can talk all day.
Ask interesting interview questions, and that's
the ending. Only interesting questions I have are the life questions. The rest is just you guys. And
man.
Depending depending on how the I hate to say subject, but the subject reacts is the more I go. But you, especially when you joined, like I just had to do this. I'm like, this is easy.
Yeah, she talks.
Which is not a bad thing because that's what I'm about. But some people can be timid even though they want to do it. So then I need to be maybe hold their hand metaphorically more, And then I need to kind of keep setting them up.
With my hands.
Hello.
Just put them at your side.
Hello. Hi.
Normally I can adapt really well to whoever I'm with. There was only one I did in September. I feel really bad because I was at that probably my maximum depression this year. But we scheduled that thing 2 months in advance. And I'm like, I don't know when she's going to be free again. So I did it, but I don't know how it comes across in the edit, but man, in there, it was one of the few times I blanked out. I had nothing to say because instead of being present in the moment, I was still thinking about this girl and I just wasn't there, and I knew, and she was the only one I kind of did during my deep depression because it was just scheduled so long ago. I just didn't want to like move it, you know.
She must be really pretty.
But yeah. It was it's just probably what she became on stage is what made, because she like transforms into another person on stage. And
on stage,
because she's also the girl in my mind is also like my favorite artist in Texas, you know.
Oh,
So yeah.
I think you meant like stage if she was a dancer.
No. Well, I mean, like she moves.
I was like,
while
them girls
performing.
can get you by the heart.
Yeah. Nah,
Not
but she
that kind
just
of dancer.
yeah, nah, not at all. But she's just like totally free and like super badass, like amazing, like person. Probably like her and like maybe like the rapper I had in my group. They're kind of like people, maybe what I always wanted to be as an artist, but couldn't be, you know. So that could have been part of it, you know.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something that a wise old man told me at a bar one time.
Yeah.
He said, "I hope you find an equal love or a greater love than what you had." I actually found a greater love than what I had. I didn't expect that.
I still think it's funny that you found a wise old man in a bar.
Took a second, but I got it.
It's kind of a sad story. He was married for 30 years. She passed away, but he made her ceramic roses. And one night he brought me one. I gave it to Kathleen.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And he would dance with me and dance with me. He died. But I didn't know about it until they told me, like, oh, he passed away. And I was like, what the fuck? I was all freaked out because I used to country dance with him, but he would make her ceramic roses and he would dance with all the women. And I would tell him, who's your favorite partner? And he would say, my wife. And he would always say his wife, but I would never see her there. So then one day I was like, why can we never dance with your wife? Well, she's been dead about 5-6 years.
Damn.
I was like, oh, God, I feel this shit now. But yeah, he was always saying that she was his great love. So yeah, it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
On that happy note,
I like those love stories. They're like The Notebook and everything.
I've never seen The Notebook, but I've
Good,
heard the
lucky
legend.
you.
I've heard the legend.
One thing I can tell you for sure is when you do find someone you really love, you're going to be really scared.
There is one scene that is so true to life.
It does something to you. You're scared to lose
chicks
them.
out in the rain just crying, and the dude's
get
like
it.
over and over again, like, what do you want? She's like, I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. That is so true to life. Oh my God. You have no idea how realistic that. What do you want?
I'll tell you what, though, you do know what you want when you don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
The great poet, was it Janis Joplin?
Yeah.
Don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yep. When I was in the hospital for a week and I didn't have him by my side, I really was thankful that I had him. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
When you're separated from someone that you really love because, like, your own issues. Yeah.
You're killing me over here.
He's not going to be able to top any of this stuff.
No,
Hey,
that's why
man.
I'm shutting up.
Stop going
Yeah.
second. Stop going.
He's like, you're overtaking the podcast.
Give some room for dancing over here.
It happens, man. Sometimes my friends, yeah, man, their wives, man, they just be great talkers. Like I said, episode 100 was my friend's wife, and it's like I know him from the music scene, but they still hold the record for longest podcast. But honestly, it was just me and her talking while he's just there and laughs.
I think I remember.
So I was
one.
like, he was like, what? She was like, do you want him? I was like, he can come, but you know what's gonna happen? He's just gonna sit there and do nothing while we just talk. So it's like,
Sam always has a lot to say. He's actually taught me a lot of stuff.
No, Sam's fine. I was
do.
just comparing
Yeah.
it to literally the last one I did.
I
It's just-
have a lot to say, but yeah, sometimes you have a lot more to say.
I have a lot of life lessons. 'Cause, I mean,
But though that's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. I
I
always
didn't-
feel like I just started living life this year. So like sometimes.
you can live life whenever. I mean, it just you got to pick and choose your battles always, even with yourself, because you can be so hard on yourself about something that you really shouldn't have been, and then it'll affect what you do later on. Like your trauma experiences, I can guarantee will affect your decisions later on in life. Who you date, who your friends are, how you socialize. So you always want to like check yourself whenever you feel like, oh, well, should I be awkward in this situation or should I just be myself? You know, just be yourself. have confidence that you can be around other people rather than feeling like, do other people like me in the room? Do you like the people in the room?
Yeah.
Damn.
I can't disagree with that whatsoever. I mean,
well, too many people conform
you say
to crowds.
You say it so solidly, babe.
Yeah, they conform to crowds. I conformed all the time. Do you think I wanted to go out with my mom to bars all the time?
No.
No. Watching her get drunk? No. But, I mean, I had every chance and opportunity to get myself out of it.
Yeah.
And I did. A lot of people put themselves in situations. I remember one time I got in an argument with him about something, and it was late. So I said, I'm going to go for a walk. And he accidentally locked the door. Well, he fell asleep. So I was locked out of the apartment.
Oh, I meant to lock the door, just not that particular lock.
So I called a friend, and my friend was like, it sounds like you put yourself in this situation. I was like, yeah, I did. You know, so many times people kind of want to blame somebody else, but they put themselves in situations.
Yeah, man.
Like, say, for instance, you find someone you really like. You don't want to put yourself in that situation where you start thinking, oh, what if she's like that other girl? Because then you're already setting yourself up. Like with Sam.
Always back to me, huh?
Yeah.
Back to you.
What are some of the things that you've done to where you could have thought twice about them?
See, she's ready for her own podcast.
Oh, man.
She's ready.
Good Lord, Mandy. Put me on the spot here. I don't have many things that... I mean, I don't live with, like, regrets. I do tell you all the time is... We go through a situation, and in some cases, she can fixate on why things didn't go a certain way over and over and over again, to the point to where it becomes a circle of just...
Make
the circle
crazy.
becomes a downward spiral into...
Catastrophic thinking, or
all of that jazz. And
negative thoughts.
And with all of that, it gets... I have to snap her out. She's almost like a pit bull when you see them get that fixation in their eyes.
Squirrel.
And I try not to live my life like that, because so many people get caught up in, oh man, I should have done this. My life would be so much different if I had done that. And for me, I can't.
How do you say it, honey? Wish in one hand and what in the other?
Yeah, you can wish in one hand, shit in the other, see which one fills up for you faster. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the hand filled with shit.
Wait, what's this 10th time? Because I'm pretty sure it's 10 out of 10.
That's, you know, every once in a while the wish will come true, but I don't base my life off of like wishes or anything.
Oh, you
like
said
that.
wishes. No, for me it was like the what if I guess that's how I was interpreting it.
Yeah, like the
what if I did choose something different, because you can't go back, you know?
Yeah, you can't change it. What you can do is analyze the situation as it is and then make the best decision from
You can learn
there.
a lot from other people's mistakes. I've learned that too.
I'm bad at that. I think I'm better at learning from my own. I'm working on
You're
that.
good at learning from hard mistakes, probably. Like learning the hard way on your own.
Yeah.
It sticks. Something about it sticks more. It's like, see someone fall down and trip over something, like, I'm going to be careful. I don't want to fall. But when you actually fall, you're like, I really have to be careful. You know, I skin myself up. It's just one of those things, like you'll see, like even in jiu-jitsu, we'll see someone do a move and we're like, I can do that. And when we try, we're like, I can't do that.
It's, those sports activities like that are always like an endless search for perfection that you'll never achieve. That's like surfing, skateboarding, doing jiu-jitsu. It's always that strive to do things perfect. But knowing in the back of your mind that will never happen, and being okay with that, just still going on with it.
Yeah, I've only now opened the idea of the no attachment to outcomes while still going at a max, you know? So
that's the hardest part with music, is like I'll listen to something, I'll be like, no, this doesn't sound anything like what I wanted it to sound like. And, you know, that's how you end up with a hard drive full of unreleased music. So, you know, it's fun. And
you never know until you put them out there.
And every once in a while, I'll pop them open and show her, and
she'll
tell me the same stuff.
I'm like, why don't you sell it? I don't know.
So like one of the steps of the artist, right, in their infancy is too afraid to show their shit to the world, you know?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to make the perfect art, and
It's never
some of us don't
past that.
Yeah, some of us don't overcome that.
Well, it's kind of like the painter that won't release the painting.
Yeah.
There's gonna be somebody out there that likes it.
But I'm not
Even if
Wu-Tang
it's just
Clan.
one.
I can't just do one album and have one dude buy it.
Even if it's just one, it's kind of like Professor when he says he doesn't mind training 50 people or 2 people.
Yeah.
He's got the skills to train 50 people in a class if he wanted to, and he's also got the skills to train 2 people.
Yeah, and it's that same sort of thing in streaming and everything. So many streamers will quit like in the first month or 2 when they're like, oh, I'm not getting viewers. How do you get 50, 60 viewers in a stream? And
But he's had the same viewers for like a year.
some of them are built up, and then I took a long hiatus, and all of a sudden I started doing it
They're
again.
still there.
Some of them are, but not in droves of like 10, 20 at a time.
You got to schedule it.
Yeah, you got to schedule it. They got to know you're releasing stuff for them. And
I was freestyling every day on Twitch for a while, but more for the mental practice. But yeah, like there would be some guy who would just be there all the time.
Yeah.
But then I stopped. But I mean,
He's probably still waiting for you.
maybe he actually, because man, I was like, this is in the doldrums of that depression. So I would talk and I'd rhyme about like that stuff, and then he was like, dude, I live up in Cali in the Valley. If you want to come, if you're really serious about moving to LA, like I got a room for you. I don't know how serious he was about that, and I don't know him because he's just a Twitch chat guy.
Yeah.
They're like, that's very nice, sweet deal.
But part of me was like, I wonder if this is real or not.
That's a nice offer.
Well, and like it's like that first time somebody like donates or cheers a bit, you're like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything of value. You kind of almost feel like a fraud in that sense. You're just like, I didn't feel like I was doing anything of value. I remember the first time like a big donation came in, and I was like,
I'm still waiting for that.
They really enjoyed seeing him though.
Yeah, and then the guy that I was in a party chat with, like the guy who donated joined our Xbox group, and one of my buddies who's just a complete jerk, sees the guy's little avatar and goes, whose fucking dad is this? And the guy just bailed, and I've been like trying to find this guy again and be like, I'm really sorry. Thank you for donating and all that shit. So Fireman 3309. Thank you.
That's funny.
What? I was serious about that.
That's what's up.
So funny.
Yeah, I think he's a truck driver who just really enjoys cars and enjoys the stream and talking cars.
You know what I wanted to say? There's a dude, I think he's called Murder One or something, on Twitch. And he's probably streaming now because I feel like on Sundays is when he's on. But he does like this car streams, but a lot of time is drag racing, like on the straight path.
Yeah.
And he's in Texas. He doesn't say where in Texas, but from a guy I know around here who seems to at least have touch base with almost all Texas streamers, said he's in Houston.
Ooh.
But yeah, like that could be another stream avenue for you if you ever do the car thing again. Be around.
I would love to do that and do some, because I recently started working on my car again, finally.
Yeah, the bumper sat there for a year and he put it on in 30
year
minutes.
and a half.
I was like, I could kick your butt right now, but I can't.
Yeah, she gave me a deadline.
3 more months. 3 more months.
She gave me a deadline, and
I'll be back on the mats.
That bumper was over there in that back corner, and I'd had it for like 2 houses, but never put it on. And I could have swore like the damage to the car was probably more. I was like, this bumper's not gonna fit on right. It was whatever. So I spent a year waiting to put it on. When I finally get it put on, it takes 10 minutes to get on.
Yeah, he came up. He's like, all right, I did it. I'm like, really? A year and a half? And please,
A year and a half and 10 minutes.
He's like, I know. I'm like, no, I'm going to finish my sentence. It took you a year and a half to put our bumper on that took 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's another thing about girls. You just got to let them vent. It's hard, but they love talking. And if you're right there, like holding their hand, listening, they think you're like the greatest person.
But they never stop.
See, Samuel, he'll be on his stream. He'll be busy with his headphones on. But if I'm like, hey, babe, what? Even if I'm not saying anything, he's like, did you say something?
Yeah.
Well,
I think I might have seen that moment. You say something moment at some point.
because he, and I appreciate that because, you know, I do kind of feel ignored sometimes if I do say something important and he doesn't say anything.
Well,
I'm like, oh, he don't care.
Well, that's like the one thing I noticed where like a girl will bitch, piss, and moan about how her guy just plays video games all day. But if you see the dynamic, like he'll sit there and play mindlessly without acknowledging her at all. I'm sure she wouldn't care as much about the video game if it wasn't completely draining all attention away from her. Like if you can set the controller down, and that's what we're trying to teach the kid.
Yeah. Oh,
set it down.
She doesn't
look
even
at the person
think
talking
we're
to you.
here.
Yeah.
I'm like, Alyssa.
Yeah.
And she's just staring at the thing. I'm like, Alyssa, Earth to my daughter, and she's like, huh?
That's funny.
I'm like, oh my God, are you on PCP? Like, what the hell's wrong with you?
It's that mind crack.
Sometimes I worry
It's the mind crack, not the Minecraft. It's the mind crack.
You know, people smoke that angel dust, and you say something to them, and then 5 minutes later, like, huh?
That was one of the things that made me feel. She told you she was into Minecraft. Well, I don't know if you ever met James, one of my roommates at UTSA.
Maybe.
He ran Deadmau5's Minecraft server for like 6 months.
Okay,
and we were playing one day.
I'm pregnant. I'm fat.
And this guy with an avatar that you're not really supposed to have, like pops in mouse ears and everything. And I'm like, what? And my buddy started recording this.
That'd be cool.
No baby kicks. So my buddy started recording it, and it turned out to actually be Deadmau5, and Deadmau5 recruited my buddy to play. So it comes full circle. About 3-4 months ago, she's over here again, and she's playing Minecraft, and she's like, "Do you know this guy named Deadmau5?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." She's like, "How do you know who he is?" I'm like, "I'm a lot." It made me feel so old that my 10-year-old is.
I love his music.
Yeah,
Deadmau5
asking me who. That goofball Canadian is. And I'm like, yeah, I remember a time when I was trying to tell everybody who that guy was. And that's been like the story of my life with music. I'll find something that people are into.
It's just me.
Damn.
I'm falling apart.
A
lot of jiu-jitsu.
I'll find something that people are into, and like with dubstep, I played it in clubs, and people were not feeling it. 6 months later, and then boom.
A lot of things I've been into in life was that. I mean, I just told you a K-pop story in '99.
Exactly. And now, have you been following all those scandals that have been coming out with the K-pop stars or whatever?
No, I barely follow it now.
It's
that's for the world now. I'm in somewhere else.
Yeah, there's some craziness going on, and I've only seen some of these stories in passing, but I was like, wow, that's a pretty unique world for the people involved.
Dude, Snap Crackle Pop Rice Krispies over here.
Sponsorship, let's go.
Quads crack-a-lackin'.
Do you have a question? I should have asked you.
Question that you should have asked.
He already asked me to marry him. So.
God, I've really got nothing for you on that.
Yeah, you do, baby.
I'm still working on the counter for this because I have a counter for a lot of the other life questions. I don't have the counter for.
I can think of another question that you haven't asked.
Okay, you go. You tell me what I could tell him.
Yeah, what should I have asked him that I didn't?
Should have asked you what you wanted to be when you were younger. When you grew up. Okay. That was a question that they always asked us. What do you want to be when you grow up? And do you think you've gotten to that place in your life?
I kind of already touched on that, I guess.
Elaborate.
I remember growing up and like seeing my dad on the TV for like the local Spurs games because he does what I do. And that's like being able to be out with my mom on a Friday night when he was doing a game, or like have all my friends like tell me, hey, I saw your dad on TV and stuff like that. I'd always wanted to be a lot like him. And I remember going to the radio station the first time. One of my mentors who had passed away a couple years ago, named Bobby Reyes, he was one of the last surviving people from polio. And I remember walking through the studio door of Mix 96.1 when I wasn't much older than her, and seeing this guy. He had his like wheelchair and everything, and his little makeshift spatula pulling 8-track carts from the wall and playing them, doing his commercial spots, and just looking at how busy this was. And
what's an 8-track?
Yeah, it's some old stuff, pre-cassette kind of stuff.
Pops knows what it was before 8-tracks, right?
Yeah, watching him do that and realizing that that's the radio that I was hearing like moments before we had walked in. That's what I was. So I guess just always being like my dad, and I guess I made it to at least that part, which is pretty cool because now every once in a while he still does radio broadcast engineering for the opposing teams that play the Spurs, and we work the UTSA football games together on the home broadcast. And getting to work with my dad doing the same thing, like
that's awesome.
That is cool.
After like 20-30 years, I'm like,
I get to work with him at the Spurs game sometimes.
Yeah, I've been training her to be an engineer.
I was like, I'm a mini engineer.
She's learning about audio and stuff.
They give you free cookies.
Yeah, lots of free cookies.
My chocolate makes me break out though.
Horrible food.
So you didn't go all John Lennon on your teacher and say, I want to be happy when I grow up. And she tells you don't understand the assignment, and you tell her that she don't understand life.
Oh, no. I definitely want to be happy, but sometimes happiness involves a little bit of frustration. You frustrate the hell out of me sometimes.
I am happy because I finally taught myself how to grow away from people and be able to still love and care about them without having them in your life.
That's something I'm working on too.
That's that inner peace shit that people talk about.
Yeah.
To where like you don't hold grudges, you're not angry about past because you have forgiven yourself and that person for those events.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you're able to love again like you've never been hurt. You're able to do things again without any kind of past experiences that, kind of hinder you.
Yeah. Damn. That's deep.
That's real shit. No, I'm working on that too, though. I relate to that.
He's going to probably come back and want to just Mandy. We're just going to have Mandy.
That's
all right. Maybe I'll get some music.
If, maybe.
Maybe.
If y'all want people to find you online, where should it be?
You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv.
Are you reading your own Twitch site? Are you reading?
Yeah, right there.
What is it?
Twitch.tv, CYGE240SX or CYGE.
Yeah, if they want to find me apparently. Online, wait, I'm hidden.
Wait, that's pronounced what?
A siege.
Okay,
but I wanted consistency across the board with all my tags, so I added
240SX?
the 240SX at the end.
Okay.
He likes that car.
The SoundCloud, it's still just CYGE, and I've been noticing lately more and more people trying to get that user handle for all their social media. So you can find me either as CYGE240SX or just CYGE on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that jazz.
See, mine is Amanda Walters at Facebook.
But if you want to send me a message and get in touch with me.
I'm very selective of my friends.
Yeah, I won't add that.
If you want to send me a message and get in touch with me, it's probably best to message on Facebook because that's about the only one I check.
Yeah.
Seems that way.
I'll log into something and I'll be like, oh, hey, I haven't checked messages on here in quite some time. And 4 months ago, hey, bro. And I'm like, oh, that guy probably thinks I ghosted him.
Yeah.
I'm an ass.
Right. We're going to leave you with some Helen Keller.
Oh, it's
better be seen with the heart, not with the eyes.
It's not just in my personal life. It's at work too. Like people will send me emails, and I feel horrible that they have to come directly to my desk before I respond. I'm like, I saw your email, I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, that would annoy me after a while. I had people who were like, "Did you get the email I sent you?" Yeah, you just called me.
I was trying to book a show in Maine. Some guy, and I sent him an email about it, and the guy who gets those emails, he's like, hey, you sent me the email about the show you wanted for your birthday. And that was it. That's all he said. I was like, yeah, and that was it. He didn't have a yes or no. He just said, I was like, all right. So I was warning other people about him.
I got your email. No,
I'm
not
responding. I was warning
responding.
other people about him because I'm like, well, he gets them. I just don't know what he does with them after. I just don't know. They exist, though. Yeah. They're working. The email works. You know,
right. File R.
But last words?
Last words. I love my wife. I'm happy that my baby's coming. I had a blast doing this podcast. Super nervous because you know how socially awkward I am.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, I loved every second of this.
Well, you better start your own.
He's wanted me to do a cooking show. But I have so much anxiety that I won't do it until I'm actually in it. And they're like, you're really good. And I'm like, I am.
It's like if we...
What?
I'm trying to get her to start her own cooking podcast.
You mean anxiety and depression can hinder your goals?
Yeah.
Yes,
so I'm thinking one day
you can cook on Twitch, by the way, too.
I cook really good, and that's what nobody taught me. Nobody taught me how to cook.
But I'm just saying, there's a food category on Twitch, so I'm saying they're waiting for you to
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, there's a category just for that.
I should probably do that.
You should.
Couple of cameras, and I don't even need a badass computer for it.
Because I can make some really good conchitas with beef. See, he's
and you gave me Pizza Hut, and you gave me. No offense to Pizza Hut if y'all want to sponsor me. Yeah. Anyway,
Pizza Hut's really fast.
I mess with Pizza Hut.
Good.
Yeah, I mess with them. But all right,
their
there
wings
you go.
make me sick though. Oh man, but I can't stop eating them.
I don't think it's the.
I don't think I've ever had wings from
it's
Pizza Hut because pizza.
They're all right.
But yeah, last words would be the best things are seen with the heart, not with the eyes. Can't remember Helen Keller was blind, but still got a associate's degree.
I don't know.
You know, she couldn't see and she couldn't hear you.
Don't ask. If you ask me to make a joke on that subject, cool. But the actual history, no.
Yeah, it's kind of like that just goes to show that beauty can be found even when you can't hear or see anything. So it's kind of like you find meaningfulness in people, in certain people, but you have to pick and choose your friends. That's one thing that I can tell everyone now that I'm older is pick and choose your friends. These are people that you are going to be spending the rest of your life with, kind of. People who are going to influence you and people who you're going to want to be around. Some friends are going to stick around, some aren't.
Is it true? Because we are the 5 people. They always say that 5 people thing. We are the 5 people that we spend the most time with. So it does influence us.
That makes sense.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I like that.
But all right, there you go.
That's the best last words.
And I surrounded myself with really good women in my life.
More.
Well, that's just attaching to that.
we need cue cards for her up here.
That little box that says wrap it up.
But there we go.
Those are my last words.
Bake that chicken.
Thank you so much.
Smoke that turkey.
The chicken.
Boosh.
Fire pizza way.
Hey, do that and that shit, brother. And that shit, brother.